Well, a 2-month sprint has led us to a mad dash to the finish line when the margin for error is non-existent. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crown City. Anthony Vasquez alongside Stephen Hogenkamp. And Stephen, the Oaks return to Pasadena for the rubber match of this 3-game set, this one being a must-win for the Saints.
Yeah, for the Saints, they're really going to need to put together a really good game tonight. It's gonna be, like you said, the rubber match. Last 2 times these teams have met, they've split, and this is the biggest game of the year yet for the Saints. And as this season goes on, these last 3 games, each game will be bigger and bigger if they continue to win, hoping that the Riptide can drop a few.
That's right. The Riptide need to lose 2 of their last 3, and the Saints need to win out if they want to sneak into the playoffs with that 5th and final spot. But even though the magic number for OC is 2, Arroyo Seco still has the pitching lineup the rest of the way, with Gavino Rosales drawing the start tonight.
Yeah, Gavino Rosales, he's appeared in 2 games this season, both against the Barons, and he's looked really hot in those 2 games. Just allowed 2 runs in 7 innings, a 2.57 ERA. But, you know, this is a completely different team in the Oaks, a much better hitting team that he's going to have to face tonight.
That's right. Now moving from the mound to the box, though, Arroyo Seco's strong point for this team has been the lineup, fueled by a quartet of all-stars, which are all in the starting lineup tonight.
Yeah, all 4 and all 3 that started are 2 through 4, Drew Kelly, Kyson Donahue, and Matt Wong. They are a really formidable 2-3-4 in that lineup. Drew Kelly, probably the hottest hitter in the CCL right now. It's really hard to get him out at the lineup, and they're going to need all 4 of those stars. Cooper Harris at that 9-hole, they're going to need all 4 of them to produce tonight in hopes of getting a win.
That's right. The Arroyo Seco Saints, one of the better 2-3-4 lineup spots in the CCL. Drew Kelly, Kyson Donahue, and Matt Wong, but hey, Conejo has one better. A roster littered with all-stars in its own right, and you can look no further to find a lot of them in tonight's lineup.
Yeah, the first 4 that are hitting tonight are all all-stars. Austin Carrillo, AJ Salgado, Gavin Grant, and Zach Dotted. And, you know, the last time these 2 teams faced, the Oaks didn't put out that A lineup you would consider. Carrillo, Grant, and Tyler Gannis were out of that lineup, and Gannis not in tonight. The Saints really got to take advantage without that big hitter in their lineup.
Yep, it'll be up to Gavino Rosales in what is the biggest game this summer for the Arroyo Seco Saints, and sit back and watch the ball game because the stars are out tonight. 12 combined all-stars from each team, but one is desperate for a win, and that is the Arroyo Seco Saints. Can Arroyo Seco stay alive in the playoff hunt, or will Conejo put the dagger through their hearts? We'll have the starting lineups and first pitch coming up on the Arroyo Seco Saints Media Network. Welcome back to Jackie Robinson Field, everybody. A very pleasant Thursday afternoon to you all. And before we get started and talk about Gavino Rosales, the righty on the mound, let's get into the Conejo lineup. It started out by 4 consecutive All-Stars, what Steven was mentioning. Austin Carrillo, AJ Salgado, and Gavin Grant will lead things off 1, 2, and 3. Then it's a big third baseman, Zach Dowdett from Regis University. Josiah Chavez will be in left field hitting 5th. Brendan Durfee hitting 6th and playing first base. Raul Sandoval hitting 7th and playing center field, while Colin Heineck will be catching today. He'll be hitting 8th. And Jack Brooks, the Oregon Duck, or future Oregon Duck rather, will be playing at 2nd. And Steven, they're going to be facing a man in Gavino Rosales who's come on strong in his 2 starts against the Barons.
Yeah, Rosales hasn't been with the Saints that long, and it's a big pitch to contact guy. Only 5 strikeouts through his first 7, but what he really did well improving from start 1 to 2 was limiting the walks. Only 1 walk in his second start in 4 innings, so he fills up the zone with strikes, and you're really going to have to do that against the Oaks, really disciplined team. However, they do have a swing and miss in their game. 324 team strikeouts for them this season.
So they're going to be facing off Austin Carrillo, the right fielder, leading things off against Gavino Rosales. From their windup kicks and deals, a ball in the dirt. They're underway from Jackie Robinson Field. A crucial game for the Arroyo Seco Saints. We mentioned it in the opening. A game and a half back against the Orange County Riptide. OC doesn't play today, so the Saints have a chance to pull within 1 on this Thursday afternoon with the margin basically none. The 1-0 in there for a strike, 1-1.
That's the only game across the CCL South Division. The Riptide had an earlier game yesterday against the Oaks. They almost blew a 9-run lead to them. The Saints were big Oaks fans yesterday, but we're not able to pull it out.
The 1-1 laced into right field, past a diving Peyton Holt, and just like that, took only 3 pitches, but Conejo has the first hit of the game off of Gavino Rosales. Carrillo's on first.
A really good piece right there. Great effort from Peyton Holt, just out of the reach. Austin Carrillo, a guy that did not play last time these two teams faced, already making a difference.
That's right. Carrillo went 0 for 5 with the run scored on Sunday against the Saints. Actually had an 8-game hitting streak snapped in that game. Now extended his hitting streak to 2 after he went 2 for 4 against Orange County. And he gives way to AJ Salgado, who pumps one foul up the third base line.
Now Salgado broke out of his slump against the Saints, and since then is on a 3-game hitting streak.
So let's see how Rosales can do from the stretch. Carrillo will lead off first. 9 stolen bases this year for Conejo, 2nd on the team. As Salgado takes up and away, ball 1. Salgado, another talented hitter in this Conejo Oak squad, an all-star hitting .313 on the year. He swings through that breaking ball. One of the best changeups we've seen from Gavino Rosales early, 1-2.
Yeah, it's really good to establish that pitch. First batter with Austin Carrillo, all 3 pitches were the heat. He's showing ability to control that changeup early on.
Well, Rosales double it up here. No, he goes with a fastball and it misses just up and away. And Salgado's able to even the count at 2. The 2-2, there's the changeup from Rosales, but it misses high in the zone, and Salgado's filled up the count.
Yeah, this Oaks team, 1 through 9, are really patient. They take their walks. They don't have the biggest power as a team. Only 15 total home runs compared to the Saints' 24, but they're patient.
Payoff pitch, misses ball 4. Carrillo was running on the pitch, but it wouldn't matter. Oaks have first and second already with nobody out.
Gavino, this is a completely different team he's facing. First 2 appearances with the Saints. Pitched against the Barons, who, though they are a scrappy team, aren't near the level of the Oaks in terms of hitting.
So Gavin Grant, the 3-hitter, playing shortstop today, has first and second, nobody out. Rosales, the first pitch breaking ball, lands in there for strike 1. Grant making his 100th at-bat this afternoon, 4th on the team in ABs. Very steady player. 2 home runs, 17 RBIs. And he chops that one foul behind the plate. 0-2.
Starting second baseman of the All-Star game, and he's also another Oaks player that didn't appear in the game earlier this week.
The 0-2. Rosales misses high with the breaking ball.
Really got to hit your spots pitching against the Oaks. They really punish mistake pitches. A well-disciplined team.
The 1-2 to the Oregon Duck Grant in the dirt, ball 2. Nice stop by Cooper Harris. Racing back to second is the leadoff man, Carrillo. And back to first is Salgado. Austin led off this game, singling to right field and a ground ball on 3 pitches. And A.J. Salgado worked a 1-ball, 2-strike count into a walk. He's on first.
Looks like Caleb Reyes also getting loose in the pen. Shows how urgent of a game this is for the Saints.
The sense of urgency should be at a 10. No more margin for error. As swinging, fouling that one behind home plate and off of Cooper Harris is Grant. And Coop's going to take a few moments to gather himself.
You know, we rarely see, if we have even seen, same pitcher be used twice in a week, especially with Reyes, who went deep into a game, even had a line drive hit off of him in that game against the Oaks.
And if you're Rosales, really have to bear down against Grant. Can't lose him because Big Zach Dowdett on deck. One of the best hitters in the CCL. The 2-2. Just misses on that outside corner with the slider. Rosales wanted that one. Instead, it fills up the count for a second consecutive hitter.
Yeah, that one could not have missed by much right there. And show the Oaks, both Salgado and Grant, showing the discipline they have.
Grant, a ground ball up the middle. Runners were going. Holtz only got one play to first, and he'll make it. Advancing to second is Salgado, and a third is Carrillo. So a big scoring opportunity early for the Oaks as Zach Dowdett steps to the plate.
Early on, that just shows the trust the Oaks coaching staff has with their hitters. Both times on the 3-2, the runner's been off. Even on that time, first and second off, you got to be careful with that because even if you piece up a line drive, that could turn into a triple play, and they just trust that Gavin Grant's going to know the strike zone and put the ball in play and put it in play on the ground.
Well, here's the San Diego native, Zach Dowdett, and what he's been doing this summer has been nothing short of phenomenal. 386 on the season, second on the team behind only Tyler Gaddis, the CCL leader in batting average. No home runs and 23 RBIs, and he's got a couple more on second and third. Rosales dots up the outside corner with the breaking ball, 0-1.
Yeah, team leader in RBI is why they put him in this 4-hole. They trust his bat here.
Dowdett takes low and away, ball 1. Dowdett went 1 for 4 in their last matchup. A 6-3 Saints win on Tuesday. Made a pinch hit appearance on the Sunday game, went 0 for 1 with the strikeout. An OPS over 1,000, 513 on base percentage. One of the toughest hitters to strike out as well. 22 walks to 18 Ks. And here he is, a runner's on second and third and 1 out. And he takes the bat off his shoulders, but he can't go around as the pitch is outside for a strike.
This Saints team, even though coming in off of that win against the Oaks, who, they didn't use that A lineup, but the Saints easily could have came away with a win that past Sunday, blew that 5-run lead. So they know they can hold their own with the Conejo Oaks.
1-2 misses high. Waiting on deck, Josiah Chavez, today's left fielder. 4 consecutive All-Stars in this top of the first inning for the Conejo Oaks. Carrillo singled to right, Salgado walked. And Gavin Grant bounced out to second, advancing the runners to second and third, and that's where we stand right now for Dowdett. And he takes that breaking ball outside to fill up the count. Make it 3 consecutive hitters where Gavino Rosales has had a 3-ball, 2-strike count, really working hard early. He's already at 20 pitches.
He's working around these hitters, not really going after them. is having trouble putting them away. He's gotten ahead of the last 3.
Payoff pitch. Curveball misses up and inside, and the Oaks have the bases loaded with 1 away.
At the minimum, that does put a double play as a possibility here, but you really want to command the zone because that's 2 walks this inning, and another one would bring a run home.
So far, Gavino Rosales has given up 1 hit, 2 walks, 3 base runners, and coming to the plate with the bases juiced is Josiah Chavez, the left fielder rather. As Goose is coming out to already talk to Gavino, 22 pitches and only a third of an inning, but more importantly, he's got the bases loaded against him.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough hitter, and Josiah Chavez, who has steadily improved the Tuesday loss that the Oaks suffered. He broke his 6-game hitting streak. He got a couple hits, though, last night against the Riptide.
That's right, 2 for 2, a run scored and a double, also had 3 RBIs in that 10-9 loss against OC. A game that Arroyo Seco fans, and especially us, are watching very closely. If OC would have dropped that game, the Saints would have a chance to at least tie the Riptide going into tomorrow. OC was up 10-6 in that bottom of the 9th inning. 3 unearned runs came against Matthew Maloney, the CCL strikeout leader. The Oaks had the tying run on third with 2 outs, but eventually they popped out to end the game. We're a game and a half back. Base is loaded, 1 out for Conejo.
Got the corners in as well, so ground ball to Cali or Marlowe, they're going home.
Chavez flinches at the breaking ball, and it glides right in there. Perfectly placed by Rosales.
Yeah, it is perfectly placed on an 0-0, but you don't want to leave that changeup floating over the heart of the plate right there. Chavez will definitely tee off on that.
.233 batting average on the year for Chavez. He takes low and inside, 1-1. 2 home runs and 10 RBIs. Strikes out a third of the time, though, and that's what Gavino Rosales needs. Not a big strikeout guy at LA Mission College, only averaging 6.9 Ks per 9. Chavez ropes it up the middle, and that'll get through for a base hit. Max Blessinger was shaded to the left, so he has to run after it. 2 runs already in, and stopping at third is Dowdett. So how about that for a top of the first inning explosion? A 2-run double by Josiah Chavez to center field, and in a must-win game, the Saints fall behind early.
That's not what you want to see. You want, in these big game scenarios, you want to see your pitcher throw up a 0, and the big bat in Brandon Durfee coming up. He's hit the Saints well back on July 12th against the Saints. Durfee went 4 for 6, including a home run and 4 RBI that game.
Dom Dorado already warming up for the Saints. Steven, we mentioned this, a must-win game for Arroyo Seco. Margin for error is none, and the same goes with the pitcher, Gavino Rosales. As taking strike 1 is Brendan Durfee.
Yeah, the walks coming to bite him. Those 2 walks, one has already come around to score, and Zach Dowdett on third.
1 ball and 1 strike. Durfee hitting .301 on the season. Tied for second on the team with 2 home runs. He shares that mark with 3 other Oaks play hitters. And his 19 RBIs good enough for second on the team. 4 behind Zach Dowdett, who waits on third. On second is Josiah Chavez. 2 runs already in for the Oaks. Looking for more here. He's fouling that one at home plate is Durfee. Falling behind, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That changeup is really the pitch to get Brendan Durfee out. It's a great fastball hitter, but you can locate a changeup low and away. He'll chase it, and he's out in front of it after that last pitch.
Durfee didn't play on Tuesday against the Saints, but did play on Sunday, went 1 for 3 with an RBI double here. Looking for another ribby here. He takes up high to even the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rosales missing with another fastball. Center fielder Raul Sandoval waiting on deck. Rosales once again needs a huge strikeout against the big lefty Durfee. And he won't get it here. Putting it in play and bouncing it to the right side is Brendan. Matt Marlowe over at first will make the play, but Conejo scores its 3rd run of the game. Scoring on the RBI groundout is Dowdett. And going to third is Josiah Chavez.
Interesting to see infield not in there. You know, with bases loaded, they had the corners in, but with second and third one out, they had the entire infield back. If infield's in right there, either Dowdit's not going to go home or Marlowe would easily get him out if he attempted to.
Well, that play's in the past now. It's up to Gavino Rosales to keep this deficit at 3 early on. And coming to the plate is the 7th hitter for Conejo already, Raul Sandoval. He'll take low ball 1. And Stephen, are you a little bit surprised that maybe the Saints, with the urgency that they have in this game, wouldn't be playing the infield in the first?
And not only that, you know, keeping Gavino Rosales in this game, we've seen them pull the plug early on with pitchers who sometimes struggle to find the zone or are getting hit around.
Sandoval hitting .258 on the season. Hasn't gotten a lot of playing time, this being his 9th game. And he bounces one over to the left side. Donahue on the run. Will make the play to end the frame, but not before the Oaks strike for 3. A couple of them coming on a Josiah Chavez double to right center field. And at the end of a half an inning, Conejo strikes first, drawing first blood, 3-0. Welcome back to Jackie Robinson Field, the last home game of the summer for the Arroyo Seco Saints. And if they want to at least go out with a bang, they're going to have to come back. 3-0 Conejo leads. Anthony Vasquez alongside Stephen Hogenkamp, and Stephen charged with protecting this 3-run lead is Michael Stanford.
Yeah, Michael Stanford had a really hot start to the season. His first 6 innings in relief, he just gave up 1 hit in those. They converted him to a starter, and it's been a little hit or miss for him. He had a 6-inning shutout game against the Blues. He also gave up 3 runs to the Blues. The only time he's faced the Saints, he went 2 perfect innings.
Well, Michael Stanford will have one of the better lineups Arroyo Seco has put out lately. Jordan Rogers, Drew Kelly, and Kyson Donahue will lead things off. Then the middle third of the order, Matt Wong, Peyton Holt, Matt Marlowe, and then 7, 8, 9, Jared Buhonda, Max Blessinger, and Cooper Harris once again in that 9 spot. So here's Jordan Rogers. Saints need base runners, down 3-0 early against Michael Stanford, the lefty. First pitch on the way. Misses up high for ball 1. And Stanford's day officially started against Arroyo Seco.
Opponents just hitting 195 against him this season with just 2 extra base hits.
Rogers, second pitch swinging. Fouls that one away to even the count at 1. J. Raj against the Oaks on Tuesday went 1 for 4. A walk and a run scored. Then on Sunday, took an 0 for 4 game into that one.
Been in a little of a slump. 1 for his last 15.
And that's coming off the heels of a 7-game hitting streak for Jordan Rogers, as he takes a fastball that zings to the outside corner, 1-2. Despite the struggles, Rogers hitting .250 on the summer. 2 home runs and 22 RBIs. Those ribbies good enough for 3rd on the team. And he bounces one right back to Stanford. The lefty will run it over, underhand toss to first. And on 4 pitches, Stanford has the first out.
A really good job by Stanford playing his position there. You know, he falls off to the mound exactly where that ball went, so it wasn't, you know, that ball went right towards him. Just had to stick his glove out there, and now Drew Kelly, hottest hitter for the Saints right now.
You can argue he's the hottest hitter in the league. His past 9 games, during a 9-game hitting streak, he's hit almost .530 on the summer. as he takes strike one on the fastball.
And in that hitting streak, you mentioned that 530 average. It's not just games him getting one hit. He's getting multiple hit games.
The breaking ball glides in there for strike two. Stanford's got Callie in a quick 0-2 hole.
6 of his last 7 games, he's gotten at least 2 hits.
Here's the 0-2. Bouncer right up the middle, and Stanford picks this one up yet again. The pitcher helping himself out on defense. Back-to-back comebacks, rather. 2 up, 2 down.
That's really impressive, him getting both of those. Because, pitchers, those balls come right back at him. They perceive it coming a lot faster, so it's a weird reaction that they have. But he's able to get his glove there and fielding his position well. That's 2 quick outs for the Saints here.
That's right. That's right, only on 7 pitches. Now trying to get on board is Kyson Donahue. Another lefty-lefty matchup. The big Hawaiian takes a breaking ball inside. Donahue takes a bat off his shoulders on the 1-0 and takes strike one. Kyson went 0 for 2 in Sunday's loss against Conejo. They battled back, got aboard twice in the 6-3 win for the Saints over on Tuesday. 1-1. In there for strike two. Michael Stanford attacking the zone early.
Yeah, he's really hitting those corners, that, because the Saints squad is really aggressive, and they've taken a couple college strikes here early on. Really aggressive pitching.
Infield shaded to the right. The 1-2. Swung on and missed strike three. Beat him with the fastball. Donahue was late, and that will end the frame. Michael Stanford, a perfect first inning with a couple ground outs to himself mixed in between. We go to the second. Conejo out in front, 3-0. Second inning here at Jackie Robinson Field. Conejo jumping out to a 3-0 lead, and Steven Gavino Rosales in that first inning had no problem getting ahead of hitters. The issue was putting them away.
Hey, you said it, didn't have a lot of issues throwing strikes that inning, but you got to realize, for his first 2 starts of the season, he hasn't been the big strikeout guy. He's nibbling around those corners when he gets ahead. He's really got to attack these hitters. Now, I'm not saying throw something down the heart of the plate, but he's got to realize he's not getting those calls that higher strike, so he's got to attack more.
Colin Heineck, the first hitter he'll face in the second. He'll swing at pitch number 1 and foul it back to the screen, 0-1. Rosales, a 33-pitch first inning where he gave up 3 earned runs on a couple hits and 2 costly walks, as Heineck is able to even the count at 1.
Yeah, you said it, 2 costly walks. Both came around to score. But he's got 8-9-1 due up. He's really got to throw up a 0 here. It's very important for his team's success.
The 1-1. This is up and away. It'll be Colin Heineck, Jack Brooks, and then Austin Carrillo, 8-9-1 due up for the Oaks.
Tom Dorado is also still getting warmed. Got to think the leash for Gavino Rosales is really tight.
3 balls and 1 strike now to Heineck.
not a guy you want to walk. Heineck just hitting 200 this season across 22 games.
More importantly, Steve, he strikes out more than a third of the time with 24 of them. As he takes a healthy hack there, fouls it off his foot, counts filled up. 3 balls, 2 strikes. That's really been the running theme of the day. Full counts. This is the 4th already against Gavino Rosales.
Yeah, what that does is it gets that pitch count up, makes pitchers really have to make that perfect pitch because this Oaks team has spoiled a couple pitches and also really haven't swung at a bad pitch today.
39th pitch of the afternoon already is fouled up the third base line. We'll do it again.
Now Saints falling down early 3-0. It's going to be a testament of how tough they are in this playoff hunt.
7th pitch of the AB is swung on and missed, strike 3. The slider got Colin Heineck way out in front. First K of the day for Gavino Rosales is the first out of the second.
Now much needed first out there. You don't want to allow the leadoff base runner to get on yet again. Really got to continue to pound the zone and try to get this next hitter out a little quicker now here.
And that hitter he'll be facing is Jack Brooks, the lefty. First pitch from Rosales. Floats in there for strike 1. Perfect changeup.
Yeah, it was a really good one. He's gonna looks like he's gonna try to start mixing up the pitches. Well, we saw a changeup he threw to AJ Salgado last, and he's need to throw that a little more.
Grant, a bouncer over to the right side. Easy play for Peyton Holt. 2 up, 2 down in the second.
Now, through that first time through the lineup, as the lineup turns over now, the Oaks were really hunting the fastball. And I think Rosales has got to mix it up a little more as his outing continues. He's trying to stay in as long as possible. Save that bullpen. Don't want to use everyone here, but it is a must-win game, so you got to think that the Saints are going to pull out all the stops to win here.
Coming to the plate is Austin Carrillo, the leadoff man, playing right field. Single to right his first time up and scored Conejo's first run. First pitch in there for strike 1. And Steven, how hard is it for Coach Milam to navigate this bullpen? You don't want to have him tired up for the last 2 games of the season, but you also want to win this game.
Yeah, for sure. It's a really fine line of how far you want to go because this is a must-win game, though they won't be technically statistically out of it if they lose. The best they could do is tie the Riptide if they lose tonight, and they want to keep the pressure on the Riptide. You know, Riptide had used their #1 to close out a game yesterday, so they got to keep continuously putting the pressure on OC.
The 1-1, a breaking ball is fouled up the first baseline rather. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Austin Carrillo.
It was the fastball that Carrillo ripped. It was the fastball also that, you know, up and down the lineup, the Oaks hit the ball, put it in play.
Rosales looking for strikeout number 2 in the inning. Won't get it here as poking that one foul off to the left side is Austin. We'll do it again.
I really like that placement there after the off speed, going with the elevated fastball. It's the luxury you have if you get ahead of hitters. You don't have to technically throw a strike, just got to be a competitive pitch, and that elevated fastball starts on the same plane that Carrillo was a little late on.
Rosales from the windup. Will not get the fastball call. Looked like Cooper Harris is running back towards the third base dugout. Thought he was going to get strike 3. Home plate umpire just wasn't having any of that.
Looked like Carrillo might have thought he hesitated a little. He started walking back to his dugout. Getting some chirping from the...
It fooled us, too. Rosales has to gather himself. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lined up the middle. Donahue will field it on the 1 hop. From behind second base will throw out the speedy Austin Carrillo to end the frame. So after giving up 3 runs on 33 pitches in the first for Gavino Rosales, he bounces back. Only a 14-pitch second inning. Bottom 2 coming up, 3-0. Oaks lead. Heart of the order coming up for the Saints. Matt Wong, Peyton Holt, Matt Marlowe, and Steven. If they're going to want to come back in the final home game of the season, it's got to start with this heart of the order down 3-0.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to come down to them. And Michael Stanford, he did well in that last inning. He was going around on the corners. Saints hitters really got to wait back on that pitch. Go the opposite way. Don't have to yank off and pull balls.
Stanford, a very efficient 11-pitch first inning. Got a couple comebackers to himself. They were able to turn into outs, and then he struck out Kyson Donahue to end the bottom of the first. And now here's Matt Wong, already behind 0-1. That's something that Michael Stanford really excels at. First pitch strikes. He's quickly ahead of Wong 0-2. Wong looking to extend his hitting streak to 5, has at least one hit in the past 4 contests. He'll bounce it over to the right side. First baseman Brendan Durfee bobbles it at first, tosses to Stanford, and the throw's not in time. So the Arroyo Seco Saints, it wasn't how they drew it up, will get their first base runner on an error from the first baseman Durfee.
Great hustle right there from Matt Wong. Even if he didn't get on right there, that was the right approach. Letting that outer half pitch get deep, doesn't try to do too much, 2-strike approach. Saints have the first base runner of the game.
So it is officially an E3 on Brendan Durfee. And for Brendan, that's error number 6 on the year, tied for second on the team. Wong will now be on first.
He might have hurt himself.
And Peyton Holt will come to the plate.
He's fine.
As Matt Wong taking a little bit of time, and so is the Conejo head coach talking to the first base umpire.
Yeah, it looked like on the play that Stanford reached for the bag, didn't hit it at first, and there was a little extra effort, and I think because of that extra effort, it was a little too late, and Wong, it looked like Wong beat the throw right there, or beat the tag.
So while Conejo tries to argue with first base umpire, figuring out what's going on there, Matt Wong will take the lead off of first.
Figure it out. Pledge.
Peyton Holt still waiting at the plate. 304 on the season, very eager to hit. As Conejo still jawing with the first base umpire. Now take his gripes towards the first base dugout. Now we're ready to start up play again. Holt, his past 2 games have come against the Conejo Oaks. 2 for his last 8 in a couple games against Conejo. He'll bounce that one foul behind home plate, 0-1. Holt took a week off thanks to an injury. Finally back in the lineup and picking up right where he left off. He's been on base at least once in his past 4 games. As the 0-1 curveball floats inside, ball 1.
Yeah, umpire not really giving the corners that much. He's really sticking the zone right on the black of the plate.
1-1, pop down the right field line foul, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Peyton Holt, after this summer, will head back home to his home state of Arkansas, rather. Going to be playing for the Arkansas Razorbacks after 3 years at Crowder College. Originally committed to Louisiana Lafayette, but after its coach passed away, decided to go the junior college route. He's really grown into a key Division I player, ready to play for the Razorbacks. As he loops one in a right field, that will fall in for a base hit. Matt Wong going to make sure it fouls, so he just arrives at second. Back-to-back base runners for the Saints. Peyton Holt, first hit of the day.
It wasn't the best piece of hitting, but it was shallow enough in right field where Carrillo couldn't come and grab it. Saints got a couple on here. This is where they really need to capitalize. Though the tying runs up to the plate and Matt Marlowe, you can't be thinking that. Can't be trying to get all the runs back on one swing. Just keep the line moving, scratch across a run or two here, and chip away. Rosales threw up a 0 last inning, looked a lot better in that second inning.
Marlowe right at the Mendoza line, 200 on the year. He shows bunt, and he takes inside. Did it hit him? That's the question. They'll appeal down to the first base line, and the first base umpire says he went around. 0-1 for Matt Marlowe. And quickly coming out of the dugout is head coach Aaron Milam to talk about this.
Those ones are always extremely hard to call because It's not if, sometimes it's if that bat is across the home plate. Sometimes it's if they attempted. Matt Marlowe didn't look like he attempted at that one at all.
And slowly making the walk up the first base line is Aaron Milam to talk about Matt Marlowe's phantom swing. There's no doubt he was showing bunt. No doubt he was hit by the pitch. The question is, did he pull it back just in time? For now, it's no balls and 1 strike to Marlowe. 0 for 8 in the first 2 games of this mini-series with the Conejo Oaks. The rendezvous up the first base line is short. Head coach Aaron Milam will walk back to his respective dugout. We're about ready to get under play yet again. First base umpire has been quite busy tonight.
Kind of little, both sides are angry at him right now.
Marlowe steps right back in the box. Matthew Stafford, the mound. First and second, nobody out. The 0-1 popped foul, and once again, Michael Stanford getting ahead of a hitter. No balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Marlowe a little late on that heater. It was an elevated one from Stanford. See if he tries to change up the view and bury a curveball. If he goes right back to that heater, try to get it past Marlowe.
Marlowe falling on some hard times with the bat. In the past week, he's only gotten a couple hits. Both of them coming in one game, July 23rd against the Barons. He's a guy that the Saints really need to step up. The 0-2, Marlowe just stays alive, hacking that one foul.
Now they keep him in the lineup. His defense is very important in that infield, whether it be him at third base or first base. Slotted at first base tonight. First at bat already in a big spot here.
Holt off of first, Wong from second. The 0-2. Breaking ball up the third baseline, foul wide of the bag. So far, after an 11-pitch first inning for Michael Stanford, really having to work hard here. Already 11 tosses here in the second, still yet to record an out. Marlowe bounced that one towards the left side, doubt it, dropped the ball at first, tossing across the back, tough play, and making the stretch is Brendan Durfee for out number 1. It wasn't pretty, but Zach Dowdett calmed himself down after dropping the ball in third and delivered a bullet over to Brendan Durfee, who helped him out by a nice extension over at first.
And at the minimum, runners get moved over. Really good job from Matt Wong, hustling from second to third right there. And a really good job over at third from Dowdett to regain the ball and still fire on over without hesitation.
So here's the lefty, Jared Buhanda. He's been in this situation before. 3 RBIs, a couple of them RBI groundouts last week against the Slow Blues. He'll take low and away, ball 1.
You would definitely, if you're a Saints fan, take an RBI groundout at the minimum here.
Buhanda starting out 1 for 16 this summer. Just showed up a week and a half ago. Has only played in 4 games with the Saints. Ripped 3 hits against the Philippines national team yesterday. Trying to carry that momentum here in the biggest game of the season. Has a healthy hack there. On the changeup, swing and a miss, 1-1.
Even though those 3 hits aren't in the statistics for the Saints, they're in the mind of Jared Buhanda here. Had a lot of great swings last night, specifically going the other way. Hit here could knock in too.
That's all he needs to do. Put the ball in play. The 1-1 floats in there for strike 2. Stanford 1 pitch away from getting a huge K. He already has a strikeout. Set down Donahue on just 4 pitches in that first inning. He's got Buhanda ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The pitch. He checked his swing, appealed down to third. He did not go. That was definitely close. Buhanda says thank you very much, 2-2.
Yeah, that's pure strength right there, holding up that swing. As the bat gets farther away from you, swing on those outer half pitches, it's harder to hold up, and he held those wrists.
Buhanda, a very strong player. No batting gloves. The power hitting lefty. Bounces one over the middle, over the head of Stanford, and a run will score. Tossing over to the first base side is Gavin Grant. So another RBI ground out for Jared Buhanda, and the Saints have their first run of the afternoon.
Now that's all they really need right now is start chip away. Really good play. I think that was third baseman Zach Dowdett right there making that. Coming across the field. A little nonchalant throw over to first. Still got the speedy Buhanda, but like you said, a run does come across.
So Jared Buhanda, sorry, Brendan Durfee's error over at first base, proving costly as that run eventually scored in Matt Wong. Now it's Max Blessinger's turn. First pitch swinging, laces a ball down the right field line, but foul. Blessinger getting the start at center field. The hottest hitters on this Arroyo Seco squad earlier on in the season. At one point hitting over 400. Fouling some really hard times at the plate. Now he bounces one up the middle and through for a base hit. Max Blessinger, RBI number 12 on the year. None bigger than that one right there. A single up the middle that scores Peyton Holt.
Yeah, great piece of hitting right there. Gavin Grant was shaded in the 5-6 hole for the pole, and Marlowe just flipped it where he wasn't. Great piece of hitting, great timely hitting from this Saints squad. That's what they're going to need in tonight's matchup. Now just down by one, and at the minimum, we're going to have the top of the order next inning.
That's right, Cooper Harris, the 9-hitter. Another all-star for this Arroyo Seco Saints squad. Made it as a defensive player for his leadership behind the plate all summer long. First pitch from Stanford, outside ball one.
Though Cooper Harris slide that 9-hole, just hitting 156 this season, 26 walks, good for second on the team. They put him there because he turns that lineup over really efficiently.
2 balls and no strikes. Ball gets away from Heineck, and advancing into scoring position is Max Blessinger. So the tying run already on second base. Anything hit to the outfield will score the speedy Max Blessinger.
It looked like Cooper Harris might have helped him out with that. It looked like it bounced and maybe hit his foot when he picked it up. But like you said, base hit should score Blessinger. He's going to be off at the crack of the bat. At the minimum, though, Saints getting 2 much-needed runs here.
That's right, really battling back after Conejo nabbed all the momentum early on, up 3-0 before the Saints even came to bat. Arroyo Seco battling back here with a couple here. An RBI ground out from Jared Buhanda, then an RBI single by Max Blessinger. He stands on second base. Cooper Harris is ahead, 2 balls and no strikes as he swings through that breaking ball 2-1.
Looked like he hesitated a little on that one. He was sitting dead red heat. Number 9-hitter getting a 2-0 curve. You don't see that often.
You mentioned the walks, Steven. How about the strikeouts? Second on the team with 36 of them. Did a great job in the first half of the summer limiting that. But ever since he's been in a struggle, 2 hits in his last 8 games, the strikeouts have gone up with it. As he fouls it back to the screen, 2 balls and 2 strikes. But Harris, a very hard worker, came for some early hitting in the batting cage today, talking with assistant coach Cody Walter about his swing, trying to tinker it as the season comes to an end. And he'll need to do that because over Wichita State, Eric Wedge needs a catcher. And Cooper Harris would be that guy. Michael Stanford set at the belt, the 2-2. Just outside. Full count to Cooper Harris with the top of the order, Jordan Rogers looming on deck.
Well, that's what I've liked from the Saints the second half of the season. Ever since that All-Star break, they've come out to the field a lot earlier on these home games, a good hour earlier to get those hacks in, trying to get that timing right, get that swing feeling good.
Payoff pitch. Breaking ball misses up and away, ball 4, and Cooper Harris does what he does best, working counts and drawing a free pass. First and second, 2 outs for Rogers.
Yeah, he got ahead 2-0, then a couple strikes from Stanford to make it 2-2, and he spoiled some pitches, and now that order flips over. Jordan Rogers, big spot early on for him.
So after an 11-pitch first inning from Michael Stanford, he's thrown 25 pitches already here in the second, and he still hasn't gotten his 3rd out. Rogers bounced out to Stanford in his last AB, back in the 1st. As he'll take a ball up and away, 1-0 the count.
Jordan Rogers Cooper Harris draws the walks at an efficient rate. Jordan Rogers gets hit at an efficient rate. Team leading 9 times he's been hit. Second on the team is 4 with Jacob Sanchez. So could call him a ball magnet.
The 1-0 bounce to the left side, backhanded by Gavin Grant. He'll toss across the bag, and it's not in time. Jordan Rogers using a speed to beat out the throw. Brendan Durfee distraught looking at the Conejo dugout, and once again coming out to argue it is the Oaks head coach. And I don't really know if he has an argument too much. Rarely do I see calls overturned after a coach comes out to argue.
Yeah, you know, especially after it's a second time arguing. I'm more confused why Gavin Grant threw that all the way across the field. Yes, he did bobble it a little, but he had a much easier play just about 20 feet in front of him at third base. Even though Max Blessinger gets down the line quick, you still had a play over there at third. You know, it's still a strong throw, bang, bang play, but they're going to give that to Jordan Rogers, and now the last guy the Oaks want up to the plate.
It's big Drew Cowley. Bounced out to Michael Stanford in the first inning. And here's Cowley in a bases loaded 2-out jam. First pitch breaking ball lands in there, 0-1.
Yeah, Cowley grounded back to Michael Stanford last inning. He hit it decently hard, just was a little early on the outer half pitch. He's really got to hit that in that 5-6 hole.
The 0-1 laced into right center field, racing on back Sandoval. He's at the wall, and it's gone, a home run! Mr. Saint comes up with another clutch hit, a grand slam to straightaway center field, and just like that, the Saints have scored 6 unanswered. They now lead it by 3.
Who else but Drew Cowley, straightaway center field, coming in clutch when he needs. Big smile on Mr. Saint's eyes right now.
How about that? Down 3-0 in the first inning, all the way towards the second, and coming out angrily is the Conejo head coach, yelling at the first base umpire who tries to step away to shallow right field. And now he's right in the face of the third base umpire.
Have they been tossed yet? I didn't see if they got tossed before, but
how about that? 6 runs for the Arroyo Seco Saints in the second inning alone, capped off by a grand slam to straightaway center from Drew Cowley. That snuck over the wall. It's 364 out to straightaway center, and Raul Sandoval just couldn't get it. Tried to reach over the wall, but it wasn't close.
Now, they may be referred to as a Little League field, but we'll take it right there. Big hack. You know, coming into today, Michael Stanford had just allowed 7 earned runs across 23 2/3 innings.
And now the Conejo coach right back out there for seconds, walking right behind first base coach Riley Collin.
I think they had one coach toss.
Get it up.
And Steven, this looks to just be getting ridiculous at this point.
You got to think, you know, on the Conejo side, a couple big calls, the close play with Matt Wong to start off this inning, then the really close play with Jordan Rogers, both going the Saints' way.
So with the bases loaded, Drew Cowley, a career .351 hitter for the Arroyo Seco Saints, launches yet another home run. His third of the summer. He's got 18 RBIs, and I'm pretty sure that home run is the biggest he ever hit with the Arroyo Seco Saints. A must-win game, down 3-2. Even though this is only the second, I was going to say earlier on that might have been the at-bat of the game, and Drew Cowley delivers.
Yeah,
now it's Kyson Donahue, the 9th hitter to come to the plate for Arroyo Seco, as he laces one down the right field line, hooking, foul.
Just got out in front of that one. Back-to-back good swings. That's one I really like from Donahue, who has struggled a little with lefties, especially also with fastballs from lefties and righties. But that elevated fastball in that crouched batting stance, he can't get the bat really up to the zone quick enough.
So after an 11-pitch first inning for Michael Stanford, 31 alone in the second inning. And he is crumbling right before our eyes. 6 earned runs already put up on the board, as that one will trickle towards the dugout. Stanford missing with the fastball, 2-1.
I mean, what a response from the Saints. They throw up a 0 in the top of the second and respond with 6 here.
The 2-1. Donahue ducks out of the way of the breaking ball. He's ahead 3-1. Matt Wong, who led off this second inning, getting aboard on a Brendan Durfee error, waits on deck.
You know, and even though you'd want a pitcher to have a short break, I bet this has got to feel good for Gavino Rosales.
Donahue will take upstairs, ball 4. And the Arroyo Seco Saints will get yet another base runner. No solace on the way for Michael Stanford.
And they've batted around now. Matt Wong led this inning off, and last night in the Philippines game, they sent up 19 batters the first 2 innings, dropping 10 runs. And offense, you know, we talked last night how even though it was an exhibition, didn't count towards the standings, how hot hitting can carry over like it did last night, and it's showing early here.
So here's Matt Wong, and he got aboard thanks to a Brendan Durfee fielding error. Wong bounced it over to first base. Durfee tried to field it with his belly. It landed up the first base line, and his toss to pitcher Michael Stanford was late. And that really fueled this inning for the Saints.
And if you go back and watch that, Stanford hesitated to get over to first. Those PFPs, you'll hear if you come to an Arroyo Seco Saints game, ground balls to the first baseman, that dugout's going to yell out, get over there, to the pitcher getting over to first. Stanford hesitated, assumed that Durfee was going to field that cleanly, that he wouldn't need to toss over, but because it bounced off him, Stanford wasn't able to get there in time, and that resulted in Matt Wong being safe at first.
Nicely put, Steven. That error looming large right now is in the scorebook. Michael Allen, Stanford, 6 runs, none of them earned. The lefty really having to work hard in the second inning. Already 48 pitches on the board, 37 in this inning alone. First pitch to Wong, line towards the left side. Gavin Grant on one hop will end the inning, but not before the Arroyo Seco Saints strike for 6 unanswered runs, capped off by a grand slam by who else? The hot-hitting Drew Cowley. We go to the third, brand new ball game. Arroyo Seco leading the Oaks 6-3. Welcome back to Jackie Robinson Field, where lightning has just struck in that bottom of the second inning. Stephen, 10 hitters came to the plate. 6 of them scored on that, 4 of them on that grand slam by Drew Cowley.
You know, I mentioned that, you know, at the minimum, Saints need to scratch across 1 run. They got that on the RBI ground out, not via the hit, and you say, like, hey, you got to take that. You know, Jared Buhonda is just the king of those RBI groundouts. Then they get another one on the hit from Blessinger, and then they just keep adding on, and their Saints hitters are hot right now.
Gavino Rosales all of a sudden comes back out to the mound with the 6-3 lead. He left it in the middle of the second, down 3-0. But the Arroyo Seco Saints batting order, the strength of this team delivers yet again as A.J. Salgado fouls a pitch off right in front of us. 1 ball and 1 strike. It'll be 2-3-4 due up for the Oaks. Salgado, Grant, and Dowdett. Rosales, night and day difference in the first and second inning. 33 pitches in the first, then set down the Oaks 1-2-3 on just 15 in the second. As bouncing one to the right side is Salgado. Peyton Holt from shallow right field will throw him out. 1 up, 1 down on just 3 pitches.
You know, this inning is a very important inning that the Saints has been really inconsistent. That shutdown inning, once your team gets you the lead, ties up a game after trailing, you really got to throw up a 0 because that could take away a lot of momentum from the Conejo Oaks right now, who, you know, they had a tough loss yesterday. Some of that may be looming, but you really got to put them away early because they almost came back from a 9-run deficit yesterday.
Grant takes outside, ball 1. Shortstop, another all-star for this Conejo Oak squad. Murders row, 1, 2, 3, 4. First 4 hitters for Conejo, all of them representing the Oaks over in Compton a couple weeks ago. 1-0 from Rosales. Floats outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Grant a productive out, his first time up. With first and second, nobody gone. He bounced one over to the right side. Even though it's a ground out in the scorebook, he set up Zach Dowdett and the rest of this Conejo order with some more runs.
Hey, easy with that.
As he pops one up to straightaway center field, Max Blessinger barely has to move, waiting for it to come down for out number 2.
So 2 quick outs right here for Rosales. Exactly what the doctor ordered. It's not going to get much easier, though, with Zach Dowdett.
So Gavino Rosales working efficiency, rebounding after his 33-pitch first inning. Zach Dowdett stepping to the plate, walked his last time up, which was the first. As he takes outside, ball 1.
You know, we saw in the first inning, Saints had 2 different pitchers get up to warm up. No one up in the pen right now with Gavino Rosales, 1 out away. Going into the 4th inning for him, at least, with the lead.
That's right, 7 consecutive hitters dating back to the first inning, set down by Rosales. The LA Mission College righty dicing up this Conejo Oaks lineup. As the 1-1 misses in the dirt, 2 balls and 1 strike. Rosales, 57 pitches, 30 strikes and 27 balls.
Really got to pound the zone just a little more. You want to throw a little higher percentage of strikes.
3 balls and 1 strike. On deck, Josiah Chavez. He ripped a double in a center field his last time up in the first, scoring 2 Oaks. The 3-1. Little number up the first base line. Rosales coming after it, and he'll block the way of Zach Dowdett on the tag, and that will end the frame. 8 consecutive hitters set down for Gavino Rosales after giving up 3 in the first. 6-3, Arroyo Seco still out in front, middle of the 3rd. Bottom of the 3rd inning at Jackie Robinson Field, the home finale of the Arroyo Seco Saints, and boy, did they bring their bats in that 2nd inning, Stephen. 35 pitches for Michael Stanford, giving up 6 earned runs, including that Drew Cali grand slam.
I think it was actually, could have been 6 unearned runs all allowed from Stanford, but, you know, all it comes down to is Saints had some timely hitting, especially with Drew Cali.
So Peyton Holt leading things off here in the 3rd. Single to right in his last at-bat. Jammed a bit, but just had enough bat left to bloop it into shallow right field. 2 balls and no strikes to big Peyton Holt. 2-0 from Stanford. Misses up and away, so Stanford shaking his head. Not happy with this control early. He has 2 walks through 2 innings pitched, in danger of number 3 here.
And Stanford didn't get a lot of time to rest after a long, laboring second inning, just an 11-pitch third inning for Gavino Rosales.
So Stanford battles back with the fastball. Holt still way ahead, 3 balls and 1 strike.
And still no one up in the Saints pen, so you got to assume Rosales is going to go out for the 4th.
3-1 misses high, so the Saints get a leadoff base runner to start the 3rd. It's Peyton Holt walking on 5 pitches.
That's what you want to start if you're the Saints, and that's exactly what you don't want if you're Michael Stanford right there. Long second inning, and you're starting your 3rd out with a free base runner right there, and we saw how the Saints capitalized on mistakes from the Oaks last inning. Let's see if they could do the same here in the 3rd to provide some insurance.
Here's Matt Marlowe, bounced out towards 3rd, his last at-bat. He'll take strike 1 in his 2nd.
Got a larger crowd than normal here. Last home game of the season for the Saints.
The 0-1. Marlowe flinched at it, but smartly takes outside. 1 ball and 1 strike with a speedy Peyton Holt off at first. Second on the team in stolen bases with 14 of them. And if he goes here and makes it, he'll tie for the team lead. Rogers and Blessinger each with 15. Stanford staring right at him. The 1-1. Holt doesn't go, and Marlowe takes low ball 2.
We'll see how aggressive Saints are and how big of a game this is. As soon as they count, though, 2-1, you see a hit and run because pitchers on 2-1 love to give you the heat. And those are the pitches you want on a hit and run.
Marlowe takes inside ball 3, and it got him on the top of his cleat.
He didn't square to bunt there, I do not think on that.
Yeah, and that time he didn't. And Matt Marlowe will get aboard. 1st and 2nd, nobody out once again for Jared Buhonda.
May see Buhonda square to bunt. He's been that team player. He's got 3 RBI via the ground out. 3 of his 4 RBI on the season coming from the RBI ground out. This is a position here. Doubt it not in or turned. Do got Durfee in on the grass, however.
And that's something the Saints have been struggling with. Sacrifice bunts. Only have 5 as a team. Lefty-lefty matchup. Buhonda squares, and he bunts it foul. 0-1.
You really got to think he's got to square earlier. Got to get that angle set down as quickly as possible.
Usually when it's a sacrifice, you square earlier, right?
Yeah, and you square late when you're trying to bump for a hit, but in this situation, Buhonda's just trying to advance the runners here.
Corners now in. Durfee at first, Dowded at 3rd. Infield and double play depth. As Buhonda smartly takes outside, ball 1.
Put the bat out a little earlier there. You want to get this down to the 3rd base line because Durfee doesn't have to hold on Matt Marlowe, but Zach Dotted at 3rd. There could be a play over at 3rd base, so you got to make him make the decision if he needs to crash.
The 1-1 outside, right off the black. 2 balls and 1 strike. The count to Jared Buhonda, who's shown bunt all 3 pitches in this AB.
Oaks
And now
did
calling
not
time
like that.
Calling time is head coach Aaron Milam, talking with 3rd base coach Serge Placencia, and he'll have a meeting as Peyton Holt, Matt Marlowe, and Jared Buhonda will come up the 3rd base line, and once again coming out to voice his issues with the umpiring today is the Conejo head coach.
Yeah, very surprised to see an Oaks coach that hasn't been thrown out today. It looks like it's going to be a umpire visit here, but coach for the Conejo Oaks is not happy right now.
That's
David
right.
Solis.
David Solis, hands on his hips, walking up the 1st base line. Home plate umpire talking with the 3rd base umpire. Not sure about what they could be yapping about here.
I think they're asking if he's offering at that because you wouldn't see them meet for a ball or strike call. Oh, we got both sides, the Saints and the Oaks, a little upset because it looks like head coach Aaron Milam's having a little discussion with the 2nd base ump right now, saying that multiple coaches can't go out to meet with the batter, but I don't think that's true.
Well, either way, we're back ready to play yet again. A lot of stoppages in this one, really showing you how important this game is for each team.
High intensity, high emotions.
Buhonda squaring early. Bat parallel with the ground, and Stanford will step off.
Peyton Holt's really got to have a good jump on this one if it does go back to Stanford, who has an easier throw to third.
Corners creeping in. The 2-1. And bunting right through that one. Now getting caught up is Peyton Holt. Throw over to third, and it is in time to get him. On the second, Marlowe is no call yet. He's out of there as well. So the Saints run themselves into a couple outs on the base pads. It started with Peyton Holt getting hung up to dry in between second and third. Marlowe was late trying to get behind the runner towards second. Both of them are out. And once again, the Arroyo Seco Saints running themselves into huge outs here in the third.
Yeah, we haven't seen that a lot from them this season. They're one of the most smart base runners in the CCL.
And how out yet again is head coach Aaron Milam, slowly walking up the first base line to talk to the first base umpire. This being a division game, Steven, you only get 3 umps. The third base ump was already preoccupied with Peyton Holt at third, so the first base umpire had to run all the way across like he was stealing second base to call Matt Marlowe out, and I'm pretty sure that's the gripe Aaron Milam has.
Yeah, it's something I've complained about throughout this season. I would rather have a 2-umpire crew than a 3 if you're not going to go to a 4-umpire crew, because with 3, just like in that occurrence, the communication is all off. Who's got what call, who's advancing to what base. With the 2-man, you know it's more clear who's got what position, who's got what base, who's got what call. And I think they either got to go to 4 or go down to 2.
All of a sudden, with one pitch, the bases are cleared for the Arroyo Seco Saints, and a ball hasn't been put in play yet. Peyton Holt walked to start off this frame. Matt Marlowe followed it up with a free pass of his own. Jared Buhonda just attempted a bunt right through a pitch, made no contact with it. The Oaks are gifted with a couple outs.
Really interested to see that first base ump is really letting coaches complain a long time. You normally try to get them out of there as quick as possible. If they stay, you got to toss them. It's a very long inning, long game so far. Lots of stoppages. We haven't seen Dale Gardner out here in a while.
So Michael Stanford will get some warm-up pitches in as head coach Aaron Milam voicing his displeasures up the first base line, something that David Solis has done his fair share amount as well.
It's a lot shorter walk over there to first, though.
With the way head coach Aaron Milam walking, we're on his time in this game.
He's definitely getting his steps in.
So the count's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jared Buhonda. All of a sudden with the bases empty, so the bunt's obviously off here. Doubt it will return behind the back, so will Durfee. Infield straight away, outfield the same. Michael Stanford versus Jared Buhonda. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 men out. The 2-2. Floater swung on and missed strike 3. Applying the tag is catcher Colin Heineck, and Jared Buhonda is down on strike. So a long and drawn-out inning filled with some base-running blunders for the Saints. No run score, even though they had 2 base runners on with nobody out. We go to the 4th. 6-3, Arroyo Seco still out in front. Gavino Rosales back out there for his fourth inning of work, and after throwing 33 pitches in the first and giving up 3 earned runs, he's been lights out, 8 consecutive hitters shut down.
Yeah, for the first 5 hitters for the Oaks got on, and it was all via solid contact besides those 2 walks. Since then, he's induced a lot of weak contact here. He's getting ahead of hitters at about the same rate, but he's attacking them differently when he's getting ahead. He's not nibbling around the corners. He's going right after these hitters, and that's what I love to see.
And the weak contact is the name of Gavino Rosales this game. Doesn't strike out a lot of guys, only has 1 through 3 innings. But what he does is bread and butter, inducing weak contact and having his fielders work early on.
He's got to throw that off speed a lot more.
Oh, there it is right there. It fooled Josiah Chavez, who's back out there for his second time. Josiah ripped a double, a ground ball double, into right center field his last AB, scoring a couple Conejo runs. Austin Carrillo and A.J. Salgado scampered home. The 0-1 misses high to even the count.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty clear that the Oaks have been hunting fastball the first time and a half through the lineup, so especially the lefties, he's got to get that changeup going.
Swung on and missed, strike 2. Behind on the fastball was Chavez. On the year, or coming into this game rather, hitting .233. Raised his average and his RBI total in his first at-bat. And he'll pop one up foul in his second. Out of play into the seats.
That was a really good spot there. Elevated fastball. You saw Cooper Harris point right back to Gavino Rosales on that one. May see him go to the changeup there to get him out in front. Could get a rollover ground out to the right side.
The 1-2 just misses upstairs and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Rosales versus Chavez.
That's where he's had trouble, that 2-2 count. He's got to attack the zone here.
The changeup misses in the dirt. Nicely stopped by Harris. And once again, Steven, another full count against Gavino.
He's had one every inning since, except that 3rd inning. Got to go after Chavez here.
Payoff pitch. Chopped up the first base line and foul. We're going to need a 7th pitch of this at-bat.
He may have went to the changeup there. Chavez way out in front of that. I think you tried to go elevated fastball, but you got to hit that spot. Rosales early on hasn't gotten that high zone from the home plate umpire.
It's been a battle for Gavino Rosales all afternoon. Called strike 3 on the inside corner rather. Josiah Chavez was on his way to first, but home plate umpire says not so fast. Gavino Rosales picks up his 2nd strikeout of the night. 1 gone in the 4th.
Yeah, Gavino, that pitch went to the stretch, and it was a little slide step. He was trying to speed up Josiah Chavez, who just stared at a pitch that looked right down the middle to me.
Not sure what Chavez was looking for. He's a strikeout victim. 2 on the day for Rosales. And that'll bring up Brendan Durfee. Bounced out to the first baseman Marlowe in his last at-bat. Takes up an inside here, 1-0.
Got to keep mixing up your stuff. You know, Rosales doesn't have the most overpowering fastball, so he's got to finesse.
Oh, talk about finesse right there, Steven. The changeup has Durfee looking silly, 1-1.
I mentioned last at-bat Durfee. That is his weakness, that changeup. Saw it in his last season at Cal Lewis. He has trouble laying off of it.
70th pitch of the afternoon, laced down the right field line. That'll be a fair ball, right over the chalk and into the corner. Matt Wong hustling after it, stumbling as he rounds first is Durfee, and he will make it easily. A 1-out double for the Conejo Oaks, and that ends a string of 9 consecutive hitters set down by Gavino Rosales.
Interesting to see him go to that fastball. Durfee got up to that really quick. I somewhat like the idea of it, changing the plane, starting it with where the changeup started off, but I would like to see him go back to that changeup, double up on it, because Durfee was fooled on it the first one.
So Gavino Rosales misses up with that pitch, and Brendan Durfee did not miss it. A ringing double down the right field line. A runner in scoring position for Conejo. That'll bring up Raul Sandoval.
It's like Cooper Harris was having a little discussion with the home plate umpire. He thought that one was foul. That one looked like it caught the inner half.
It looked like it was the left of the chalk line out in right field. And Rosales is going to have to pitch around some more trouble here. 3 runs given up in the first. 9 consecutive hitters set down. Then Durfee just doubled. Raul Sandoval takes inside ball 1.
Still got no action in the Saints bullpen right now. No one up as of now. Maybe some getting a little loose, however.
Pitch count sort of getting out of control. This is the 72nd of the afternoon. That one's ripped down the first base line and a fair ball. Matt Marlowe had no chance for that. Back-to-back extra bases as Brendan Durfee, for whatever reason, holds up at third base. And arriving at second is Raul Sandoval with a double. Not sure what was happening there from Durfee.
Yeah, I've seen from their third base coach, he's not really animated when he's waving guys home. He kind of points to home. Normally you see him, whip their arm in a wheel sort type motion, but he kind of just points home. I saw that back in the first inning on the 2 RBI double from Josiah Chavez. And Durfee, it looks like he was talking to him saying that I saw you hold me up, so could be a big break here for the Saints.
That's right. And the ball was still in the outfield by the time Durfee was charging around third. We'll see if that costs Conejo in this 4th inning, as taken outside ball 1 is the catcher Colin Hynek. Back-to-back doubles for the Oaks, but no runs scored.
How often you see that?
Yeah, right? No runs scored and no outs recorded as well. The 1-0. The breaking ball lands in for strike 1. So Rosales is able to even the count.
You got 8 and 9 hitters coming up in Hynek and Brooks here. Covino's going to he could have a chance to get out of this scoreless after allowing back-to-back doubles.
Rosales set at the belt. Misses low, another slider in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike to Colin Hynek. Struck out swinging in his first at-bat in the second, and boy, would Covino like one more of those Ks here.
Tom Dorado back up in the bullpen for the Saints. This could be the last thing you see from Covino. If he could get out of this would be huge.
Fouling out pitch off to the screen is the catcher Hynek. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rosales one more big pitch away from picking up his 3rd K of the day. None bigger than this one right here. Infield back for the Saints, willing to trade it out for a run. They're protecting a 6-3 lead. The 2-2 barely tap foul up the first base line. Hynek just stays alive.
Yeah, he did not get much of that one, luckily for Hynek.
These are big pitches that Covino Rosales is throwing. Gathering up big outs. At one point, 9 consecutive hitters set down. Back-to-back doubles for the Oaks has them in business. 2nd and 3rd, 1 away. The 2-2 fouled off to the right and will do it again.
And you do have that 3-run lead here. So you could, a ground ball would work. You trade it out for a run or run for an out, but if you're the Saints, knowing that the Oaks almost came back yesterday after being down by as many as 9, you want to continue to pile on.
The 2-2 just outside to fill up the count. Cooper Harris and Covino Rosales are ready to breathe a sigh of relief getting the K. But once again, the home plate umpire denies it. Another full count for Rosales coming up.
Yeah, don't know where that missed. Maybe a little away on the slider. Let's see what he goes with here. You got the open base, but you want to attack with the lead.
A bouncer up the middle rather. Donahue on the run will make the play. He'll throw out the catcher Hynek. Scoring is Brendan Durfee. And the Saints traded out for a run. 2 gone and a runner on 3rd.
That's a sigh of relief if you're Brendan Durfee, though, knowing that your base running blunder didn't affect it. He scores either way. Now Rosales can get out of this. If he only allows 1 run, that's still got to be a win after back-to-back doubles. Right. I would assume this could be his last batter with the top of the order and Austin Carrillo on deck, though.
Dom Dorado still warming up in the bullpen, standing atop the mound down the left field line. Rosales and Cooper Harris meeting at the mound to figure out how to attack Jack Brooks. Rosales was able to figure him out in the second. Got him to bounce out to Peyton Holdover on the right side. Here's Brooks yet again, hitting .276 this summer in 30 games. Second most on this Conejo squad. It's been a big hitter at the bottom of the order for the Oaks. And boy, do they need him to come through here, down 6-4 in the top of the 4th.
Big spot here for Brooks. Let's see how Covino Rosales, it's only his 3rd time pitching for the Saints, but nothing bigger than this.
First pitch, breaking ball, fouled up the first baseline, 0-1. 6 runs put up by the Arroyo Seco Saints in the bottom of the second inning. 4 of them coming on a Drew Kelly grand slam to straightaway center field. Momentum all on the side of the Arroyo Seco Saints. The 0-1 to Brooks. Fastball misses inside, 1-1.
A good spot right there after going to the changeup, getting him off the plate. Inner half fastball brushes him off.
Rosales set at the belt, the 1-1. Breaking ball in the dirt, 2 balls and 1 strike. Got to be very careful because All-Star Austin Carrillo looming on deck.
Yeah, I would definitely think this is Rosales' last batter. Not only would it be the 3rd time Carrillo has seen him, but Carrillo a lefty, with Dorado being a lefty in the bullpen as well.
3 balls and 1 strike. Now the ball gets away from Cooper Harris. Racing home is Sandoval. He'll make it without a throw. And the Conejo Oaks slide a 5th run across. It's 6-5 now in the 4th.
That one's going to sting right there. Cooper Harris normally an elite defender behind home plate. Lets that one bounce off his glove on that pass ball. And the Oaks now just within 1.
3 balls and 1 strike. It'll be ruled a pass ball charge to Cooper Harris. That'll allow Raul Sandoval to score Conejo's 5th run. Bases wiped clear, though. 6-5 and a 3-1 count. Top of the order, and Carrillo waiting on deck. And he won't come up quite yet as Rosales delivers a fastball to fill up the count yet again. Divino's given up 3 in the first, then sent 9 consecutive hitters down. 2 runs in here in the 4th. And another base runner will be on for Conejo after Rosales misses with that fastball. And you can only wonder, is that the last hitter he'll face? Goose strutting towards Coach Aaron Milam, gives the lineup card to Serge Plasencia, and he'll go out there to make a mound visit. But will he take Gavino Rosales with him?
Looks like he will. Looks like he pointed to the bullpen for Dom Dorado.
So we're going to have a pitching change at Jackie Robinson Field. The first run won this afternoon. It's a tight one, folks. Top of the 4th inning, 6-5 Arroyo Seco leads.
Attention California Collegiate League fans, the 2022 CCL State Championship presented by Firestone Walker Brewing Company is coming to the California Central Coast. The state championship will be hosted in San Luis Obispo at Sinchimer Park August 4th through the 6th. Tickets will be available online and at the gate. For more information, visit calsummerball.com and be sure to follow all of the CCL State Championship action on social media using the hashtag CCLBaseball.
So Goose takes Covino Rosales out, and he inserts the Vestal, New York native, Dom Dorado.
Dorado has been an absolute stopper for the Saints this season. 1.03 ERA across 17 1/3 innings. Pitched in a lot of high leverage situations here.
First pitch to Carrillo, shows bunt, takes outside ball one. And even though this is the fourth inning, you can argue that this is about as a high leverage situation as you can get. Top of the order, 4 consecutive All-Stars coming up. And it's the stopper, Dom Dorado.
One thing that Dorado has in his favor is this Oaks lineup features a lot of lefties.
The 1-0 turns on one and just foul down the right field line. Matt Marlowe made a dive for it, and the first base umpire will call that one foul. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, I think that was the right call. That one looked foul. I think if Marlowe can't even get a glove on that one because he wasn't even that far off the line, that's a foul ball.
That's right. Marlowe is holding on Jack Brooks over at first, looking to get in scoring position. Brooks is 8 for 10 stealing bases this summer. 1 ball and 1 strike, lefty-lefty matchup. Dorado battling it out with All-Star Austin Carrillo. Austin singled and scored a run in his first at-bat in the first inning. Bounced out to the shortstop Donahue in the second. The 1-1, changeup in there for strike 2.
I don't know if it's the same in college summer ball as in high school, but I think the Oaks are going to do what's called the red line.
What is that?
It's where you put a line on an umpire where they're not going to umpire any more of your games. I think they want that for that first base ump.
Austin Carrillo facing Dom Dorado. Pitch is low. Throw on over to second. 1 hop and scoot past Kyson Donahue over at first. And Jack Brooks will have his 9th stolen base of the summer. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Carrillo, more importantly.
Yeah, that was a low pitch for Cooper Harris, so that's a hard one for him to transfer. That one didn't get cleanly into his hands. He didn't get a good grip on it.
So now a runner in scoring position for Austin Carrillo. 3rd on the team with 16 runs batted in. Number 17 is on second base in the speedy Jack Brooks. The 2-2. Ground ball over to first. Marlowe will pick it up on a nice backhand. Toss over to Dorado. Race to the bag, not in time. Oh, no, it is in time. They got him. Dom Dorado puts a stop to the Conejo rally.
Pitchers are athletes.
Pitchers are athletes too, Steven. Dorado beats Austin Carrillo to the bag for out number 3. A very emphatic way to go to the bottom of the 4th with Arroyo Seco nursing just a 1-run lead. Bottom of the 4th, Max Blessinger right back out there to face the left-hander Michael Stanford. And Steven, are you a little bit surprised that Stanford's staying in after his struggles with the first 3?
Yeah, for sure. He had a really efficient first inning, retired the side in order, but that 35-pitch second inning, and then in the 3rd inning, if it wasn't for the Saints' poor decisions running the bases, Saints could have gotten a run or two, and right after that, those mistakes, the Oaks tack on a couple more of their own So the Saints really got to add on. Only up 1 now here in the 4th inning.
Already, David Solis right back out there talking to home plate umpire. Looked like to be a
New catcher.
Yeah, looks like a new catcher. Starting the game originally was Colin Hynek, but now Michael Stanford's going to have a new battery mate. As coming right back out there, it looks to be David Whittle, the freshman going to San Diego State, will replace Colin Hynek in the batting order as well. So the new catcher will be hitting 8th in Whittle.
And he led off in the game on Tuesday.
Interesting to see if Colin Hynek might have been injured or it's just a defensive substitution the rest of the way. Either way, Michael Stanford's going to be facing off against 8, 9, and 1. Max Blessinger, Cooper Harris, and Jordan Rogers. 3 key hitters back in that 6-run second inning. Blessinger ripped an RBI single in the left center his last AB.
Yeah, Hynek was limping off. He grounded out to Donahue back in that 3rd inning, or 4th inning, sorry, last top half. Didn't really see anything from him there.
So Michael Stanford back out there for his 4th inning of work. And Max Blessinger, first pitch swinging as per usual, will foul it up the third base line.
Now Bless got a clutch 2-out RBI single last inning that kept the inning alive, got another run across, and led to the 2-out grand slam from Drew Cali.
1-1 now to Max Blessinger. The 1-1, once again chopped foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Michael Stanford, 11 pitches in the first inning, then a whopping 35 of them in the second. That's when the Saints scored 6 runs off him. Much more efficient in the third, retiring the order on just 14 pitches, helped out by a couple base running blunders by the Saints. Blessinger will take a curveball that floats up and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count, with Cooper Harris waiting on deck.
Infield's still playing Bless to pull here. You know, it was because of the infield alignment that allowed that ground ball to get through.
The 2-2, Blessinger takes a called strike 3. The breaking ball clips the bottom outside corner. Max Blessinger is a strikeout victim on the day, the 3rd for Michael Stanford. So 1 gone in the bottom of the 4th. And now Stanford will face Cooper Harris, who walked in his last at-bat in the 2nd. Ended up scoring a run in that Drew Cali grand slam. That's really proven to be the difference right now.
Yeah, Cooper Harris just once again had another long at-bat. He's it's hard to get him out. It's hard to put him away.
First pitch strike delivered by Stanford. He's been doing that at a very efficient clip so far. 66 pitches, 41 of them strikes. Stanford making it just his 4th start of the summer. 3 relief appearances with the Conejo Oaks. Getting some run as a starter in Arroyo Seco's biggest game of the summer. 0-2 the count.
And what a spot to be put in. Trying to play spoilers to keep the Saints out of the playoffs. It's been a high emotion game so far. We're just 3.5 innings through.
That's right. 0-2 rather misses high.
A little high on that one.
That gets David Whittle out of the crouch, the new catcher.
Gotta get the legs. Gotta get the blood flowing through the legs. Been sitting on bench for a while.
The 1-2, swung on and missed strike 3. 2 up, 2 down via the K. Michael Stanford mowing him down in the 4th.
Yeah, that's 3 consecutive strikeouts dating back to last inning. Buhanda went down swinging to end the inning. Lineup flips over now. It's the 3rd time Jordan Rogers will have seen Michael Stanford here, singled in his last at-bat.
That's right, an infield single, and of course scored a run in that Drew Cali grand slam. He waits on deck. Then in the first inning, he bounced out. A comebacker towards Michael Stanford. He'll take a first pitch breaking ball for a strike. 11th pitch of the inning on the way from Michael Stanford. Rogers shows bunt, and he hacks right through that one, 0-2. Looks to be a drag bunt as Rogers up the first base line. A quarter of the way already.
Yeah, we saw the speed in his last hit. It was that 5-6 hole. It was a really nice stop from Gavin Grant, but the throw wasn't in time, and it was a really close play, and it immediately backfired for the Oaks. Next batter, Drew Cali at a grand slam.
Rogers goes with that pitch, sends it into right center field. Racing after it is Austin Carrillo to make the catch. So Michael Stanford, after getting up 6 runs in the second, battles back with a very nice and efficient third and fourth inning. It's time for the 5th at Jackie Robinson Field. 6-5, Saints lead. Top of the 5th inning, 6-5 Arroyo Seco leads, and Dom Dorado's back out there, and he's got his work cut out for him. 3 consecutive All-Stars coming to the plate for the Oaks. Salgado, Grant, and Dowded in that order. In his first at-bat, Salgado walked in the first against Gavino Rosales and bounced out to Peyton Holt at second in the third. Here he is here in the 5th with a lefty-lefty matchup against Dom Dorado. First pitch breaking ball misses the zone. 1 ball and no strikes.
Be a big inning here for Dorado. First full inning he's pitched. Very tight game. Just a 1-run lead here for the Saints.
2 balls and no strikes.
Both sliders have missed low. They've been good 2-strike pitches, but you really want to get that first strike, that first pitch, and even if you're behind.
2 balls and 1 strike after Salgado chops that one foul.
Yeah, Salgado way ahead on that fastball right there. Not the timing he wants. If you're Dorado, you can't get this to 3-1 because you know Salgado's going to be sitting on that heater.
The 2-1 on the way to the 6'2 lefty Salgado. In there for a strike, 2-2. And despite being 6'2", 205 pounds, such an imposing presence in the left-hander's batter's box, he hasn't been slugging the ball very much. 363 slug, only 4 extra base hits. 4 of his 25 hits have gone for extra bases. The 2-2 chopped up the first baseline foul.
Inner half fastball right there could set him up for a slider, but even though you're at 2 strikes, if you're Dorado, Salgado's laid off both sliders you've thrown this inning. During this at-bat, you got to get it for a strike. Lower part of the zone. Got to be sweeping toward the outer half of the plate.
2-2 on the way from Dorado. Line right back up the middle. Donahue has no shot. A leadoff single to start the 5th for A.J. Salgado. He extends his hitting streak to 4.
A good piece right there. He's on the heater on that one. That's what happens as a pitcher. You fall behind. Can't go to, really any pitch you want. Got to go to the one you could throw consistently for strikes. Salgado got the fastball and teed off on it.
Now the Oaks have finally gotten the platoon advantage back in their favor. Gavin Grant, the shortstop, coming to the plate. Another all-star hitting 273 on the season. He shows bunt, takes low and away, pulling it back. 1 ball, no strikes. Dom Dorado got the final out of the top of the 4th inning, beating Austin Carrillo to the bag. Now here he is trying to navigate the 5th. And he's got to do it in a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Gavin Grant after he fouls that one away.
Dorado's given up 1 extra base hit this season out of his 16 hits now.
Two balls and 1 strike after Dorado having a little bit of a hard time locating the fastball in the inside corner.
And that one couldn't have missed by much. Harris was maybe setting up a little off the plate, and that one misses glove side for Dorado.
The 2-1. Chopped towards the left side. Kyson Donahue will field it on a hop. Throw over to first, and one hops into the glove of Marlowe, and he can't make the play. The speedy Gavin Grant was just too fast there. Oaks threatening now, first and second, nobody out.
A tough one right there for Dom Dorado. Wasn't the hardest hit ball, but bounced high enough. And now, like you said, they're threatening here. 2 on, no one out.
Once again, coming out is David Solis. Is he going for the umpire again here, or is he going for A.J. Salgado over at second? Looks like he's going to the runner.
I don't see that every day.
Maybe talking over some strategy here as the 4-hitter Zach Dowdett comes to the plate. The last of 4 consecutive All-Stars the Oaks have brought up to the plate. So Dom Dorado working into some trouble here in the 5th. So far, the Saints have had 1 inning where they've scored runs. Thankfully, it was 6 of them in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
That's been something they've struggled with this season. If they pile on runs, it's been early in the game, and then more times than not, that the bats just go cold. We even saw it last night in the exhibition game. And score a run after the 2nd inning.
Righty-lefty matchup. First pitch to Dowdett. Least foul behind home plate, 0-1. The Regis Ranger 0 for 1 on the day. Walked in the 1st against Gavino Rosales and then bounced out to him in the 3rd. Of course, Dowdett, teammates with Matt Marlowe over at first and Logan Deskin in the bullpen. They were talking earlier on at the first base line during batting practice. The 0-1, Dowdett went around. The appeal down the first is confirming the obvious, no balls, 2 strikes.
I'm surprised they even checked there. I don't know why the home plate umpire didn't call that one. Really good back foot slider from Dom Dorado. Now can go to anything here. Ahead 0-2. Can't leave something over the heart of the plate here.
Had me thinking the home plate umpire maybe didn't want coaches yelling at him with the way it's been going around today. David Solis and Aaron Milam very vocal with the umpires.
Especially that first base umpire.
The 0-2 in the dirt. Nice stop by Cooper Harris. As it looked like it hit Zach Dowdett. Yeah, it did. Home plate umpire says it hit him on the leg. And all of a sudden, the Oaks really threatening. Bases loaded, nobody out in a 1-run game.
That's not what you want right there. Pitch executed well, just looks like it moved a little too much, and it caught Dowdett apparently in the foot.
So Aaron Milam coming out to talk to the home plate umpire, asking him maybe where that hit him. Cooper Harris was a little surprised that Dowdett was advancing to first base.
Cooper Harris is pointing to the dirt where he thinks it hit instead of the foot. You know, you'd think if it hit, unless it had to have hit the leg, because if it hit the foot, it would have bounced up.
Umpire might have some supervision right there. That looked like it was hard to tell here behind home plate. Either way, the Oaks and head coach David Solis will take it. Threatening, bases loaded, and nobody out. The last time we had the bases loaded, Drew Cowley launched a grand slam into center field. Now it's Josiah Chavez with a chance to really put the Oaks out in front here. Already has a 2-run double to his name in the first. And dirting that pitch is Dom Dorado, Cooper Harris. A wall back there.
Could hear him
Saving
grunting on that one.
Top of the 5th inning. Bases loaded, nobody out. Dom Dorado has worked himself into quite a jam. A single to Salgado, an infield hit to Grant, and a hit by pitch for Dowdett. Swinging and missing On the second pitch of the at-bat is Chavez, 1-1.
Corners are in here for the Saints. Infield back. They're allowing a run to score if it's hit to either Peyton Holt or Kyson Donahue.
In a perfect world, they'll concede the run for a double play. The 1-1 breaking ball that gets Josiah Chavez guessing. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Strikeout would be huge here for Dorado. Got another lefty on deck in Brandon Durfee.
Dorado just has 12 of them in 17 and a third innings, though. Needs one more here. He won't get it as he dirts the fastball. Cooper Harris nicely picks that one. Once again, saving a run. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brendan Durfee waiting on deck with nowhere to put Josiah Chavez. Big pitch here from Dom Dorado. Lefty-lefty matchup. Dorado set of the belt. Ground ball over to third. Cowley will come home with it for 1. On to first. They'll get 2 for the double play. How about that? Mr. Saint putting a stamp defensively in this game. Going home for 1, and Cooper Harris gunning over to first for 2.
Yeah, the corners were in on that one and hit it to the corners right there. Really good job on Cowley. Knew he had time. It was a hard-hit ground ball. Didn't rush the throw in. Same thing with Cooper Harris. Made sure he got the transfer right. Make sure his foot was on base. Now the Saints an out away from getting out of this jam unscathed.
Gavin Grant will now be at third. Zach Dowden off a second. And coming to the plate and fouling that one off his foot is Brendan Durfee, 0-1.
Durfee lined a double down the right field line his last at-bat. If you're Dorado, you really gotta, it's gonna be that slider that can get him here. Get him to chase it out of the zone. Once again, a really good fastball hitter can get his hands through the zone, especially on the inner half pitches.
Still a lefty-lefty matchup, so Dorado has that in his favor. Durfee will take upstairs right at the belt, 1-1.
This would be a huge momentum swing for the Saints. Hadn't scored last inning. They had some opportunities, especially in that third inning.
Durfee hitting .301 on the season. The 1-1 bounce on over to first. Matt Marlowe on a hop will take it himself. A Houdiniac for Dom Dorado. Bases loaded, nobody out, and no Conejo Oak score. How about that for getting out of a jam? Bottom of the 5th inning coming up. We're halfway home. Saints still up 6-5. Bottom of the 5th inning, you're in the home finale for the Arroyo Seco Saints, and the fireworks have already come out in the first half of that game. 6-5 Saints lead, powered by a 6-run second inning, capped off by a Drew Kelly grand slam, and he's here leading off the 5th.
Saints need a run this inning after holding the Oaks scoreless last inning after they got bases loaded, no outs. Saints need to respond with a run or 2 here.
First pitch swinging is Cali, lofting it in a left center field, racing on back Chavez, it's over his head. It'll one-hop the wall, and advancing toward second is Cali. How about that? Mr. Saint, you can't get him out at this point. A double to lead off the fifth.
You know, yesterday being National Fred Day for the Saints, we were saying that his player comp was Barry Bonds. I think Drew Cali may be Barry Bonds. Just, like you said, you can't get him out. Do you pitch around him?
There was a point in time where Cali reached on base in 7 consecutive plate appearances. He's hitting .530 during this 9-game hitting streak, and he's 2 for 3 already. A grand slam and a leadoff double here in the fifth. And that sets the table for Kyson Donahue, Matt Wong, and Peyton Holt. First up, it's Kyson.
Need to get him home. At the minimum, Donahue's got to move him over.
He'll take a first pitch changeup in there for a strike, 0-1. So Michael Stanford right back out there for his 5th inning of work now, and he's been quite well with the exception of that 6-run second inning.
Yeah, all 6 runs weren't earned, and after that 4th inning, he had a little jolt of energy, pounding the glove into, or pounding his fist into the glove, and now he's in trouble.
1-1 after David Whittle is able to block that pitch from going to the backstop. Cowley stays at second.
Hit for Cowley, raising his average to 348 now. Seems like just a couple weeks ago he was about 260, 270. Just exploded, and at the right time, right when the Saints need him.
Stanford set, the 1-1. Donahue shows bunt. The pitch misses in the same exact spot in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike to big Kyson Donahue.
David Whittle's lucky right there. He went to block that with his glove face down and not, trying to keep it in front. He tried to pick that one.
Three balls and 1 strike after the fastball misses right below the hollow of the knee for Donahue. The big lefty in the driver's seat. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Got to be zoning in on your pitch here. If it's not there, take it. Do have that open base. Got to be looking one spot, one pitch to really tee off on and drive Cali home.
The 3-1 chopped to the right side. It gets the job done. Cali will go to third. Toss on over the first, and no one's there to cover the bag. Drew Cali will score. Another fielding error for the Conejo Oaks. This one gives Arroyo Seco its 7th run of the night.
It's not the prettiest way to score, but the Saints will take it, especially where they are. You see a big smile from Matt Wong. Donahue doesn't get the RBI there, but it doesn't matter to him. Another run for the Saints, a much-needed insurance run right there.
Second error for the Oaks. This time, Michael Stanford thought the second baseman, Jack Brooks, was covering the bag. Instead, nobody was there when he flipped it, and it rolled into no man's land. Donahue will take second, and Cowley will score 7-5 in the bottom of the 5th. And it's now the same exact situation, just with different runners and hitters.
I think Stanford also didn't know that Durfee was coming in to get that. They really got to communicate there. Durfee's got to call him off, or Stanford's really got to be vocal. I didn't really hear anyone call out, I got it, take it, who's going to get the bag. It's on the pitcher to do that, to let the first baseman know. He's got to direct, the pitcher, Michael Stanford's got to direct the first baseman on Brandon Durfee, what he's got to do.
And Steven, is there a certain call you say? Does the first baseman say I got it? Does the pitcher maybe call him out and call Durfee off?
No, it's the pitcher. He normally calls it because he knows if he can get to it or not. He's got to decide right away. And, it is a tough play for Michael Stanford because you're falling off on the opposite side, but they definitely had time on that. Donahue really got down the line quick, but with the right communication, they could have easily gotten him out.
So Matt Wong will come to the plate and take a fastball that zings outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Nice stab by new catcher David Whittle, who came in the bottom of the 4th inning as a defensive replacement for Colin Hynek. He'll be hitting for the first time in the 6th inning. Still a ways there to get there, as Michael Stanford getting roughed up here in the 5th. 1-0. Breaking ball floats inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Wong on the day reached on an error by first baseman Brendan Durfee. Then in that same inning was the 10th hitter that come to the plate and bounced out to the shortstop Gavin Grant. The 2-0 popped up a mile high on the infield. Brendan Durfee ranging to his right in foul territory, having a little bit of trouble, falling down, will make the catch. Donahue will tag to third, and he is gunned out easily. Not sure what Kyson Donahue was doing there, trying to advance the third on what would have been an infield sacrifice fly. And for the third time, the Saints run themselves into an out.
Interesting why Donahue took off. Durfee did have trouble getting it. Donahue was going to tag since it was a foul ball. You know, if it drops, he can't advance, but Durfee really got up quick and fired it on over there.
Well, he did have a sliver of a chance to make it to third with Durfee falling down, but he was out by a mile. No slide needed as Peyton Holt takes up an away ball one. Was Donahue thinking that he could maybe catch Durfee off guard?
It was a little of that, and, you know, off guard, and also Durfee did fall to the floor. I think if he just caught it regularly, Donahue may have jumped off the base but wouldn't have gone. You know, if I'm Donahue, I take off and I immediately see the ball out of Durfee's arm to see, you know, what kind of throw is going to be. He was an absolute missile, even though he had to hurry up.
2 balls and no strikes to Peyton Holt. Now he's at the plate with the bases clear and 2 outs rather than 1 out, and Donahue on second base. So Holt ahead of the count, 2 balls and no strikes. 84th pitch of the night coming up for Michael Allen Stanford. And it's laced into right center field. Racing on back, Carrillo, and he makes an over-the-shoulder grab. Allowed out number 3 for Peyton Holt. Got a lot of barrel. The ballpark hold it. And Austin Carrillo was able to make the catch to end the inning. But the Saints do strike for 1 on a costly error from Michael Stanford. The second of the night for Conejo. It's 7-5 going to the 6th.
Attention California Collegiate League fans, the 2022 CCL State Championship presented by Firestone Walker Brewing Company is coming to California's Central Coast in San Luis Obispo at Cinchimar Park August 4th through 6th. For more information, visit calsummerball.com and be sure to follow all of the CCL State Championship action on social media using the hashtag CCLBaseball.
So already in the 6th inning of this wild must-win game for the Arroyo Seco Saints. The book is closed on Dom Dorado, and coming out of the mound is Mitchell Scott trying to rebound after a rough outing on Sunday.
Yeah, you said it. He really wants a revenge game against these Oaks. Just win an inning, or a third of an inning, his last appearance against these Oaks. Allowed 4 runs, only 1 of them earned, though. So this is a big shutdown inning. He has been solid, just a 188 opponent batting average and a 3.12 ERA.
They'll hopefully get a soft landing here with Raul Sandoval, David Whittle, and Jack Brooks. But Mitch Scott allowed Conejo to spark a little rally when the Saints were up 5-1 on Sunday. Ended up giving up 4 runs. Only one of them was earned, though. As bouncing that one to the left side is Sandoval. Cowley will gather, toss on over to first. You can expect a great throw from him every single time. There's out number 1 in the 6th.
Whether it's Drew Cowley or Matt Marlowe at third, they really gobble up a lot of those balls, and it's always a pure throw over to first. I have to say, though, when Matt Marlowe throws it, it's a different arm slot than you normally see, but it's always, straight and right at the chest of whoever's playing first.
So 1 up, 1 down on just 2 pitches for Mitch Scott. That brings up David Whittle making his first at-bat. Taking over the catching duties for Colin Heineck, who left the game in the bottom of the 4th, this being his first AB. On the season, David Whittle hitting just .213 on the summer in 21 games. 1-0. Whittle takes the bat off his shoulders. Can't commit to a swing, but it's a called strike anyways. David just 10 hits this summer, 10 for 47. Looking for number 11 here, as taking strike 2 is Whittle. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Whittle strikes out nearly 40% of the time, and Mitch Scott has it back against the wall here. 2-2.
Mitchell Scott out of the stretch has that little hitch when he brings that leg up, throws it right over the top. Hard to track the ball out of his hand.
Got him swinging. Mitch Scott got him with the breaking ball, but the ball will trickle away from Cooper Harris. And getting on first, well, thanks to a drop third strike, is David Whittle, a costly base runner for the Saints rather.
And how much you could do if you're Cooper Harris? That ball was about a 55-foot spiked off-speed pitch that Whittle chased. Harris did all he could, and it just bounced a little too far away.
So Mitch Scott will have the strikeout, but not out number 2, as Jack Brooks will stride to the plate. Brooks bounced out to second in his first at-bat, then walked in the 4th against Dom Dorado. Gavino Rosales, rather, that's the last batter he faced, as Brooks takes strike 1 with the fastball.
It was a big insurance run the Saints got last inning. Now the Oaks are going to need to get a runner on before tying this game up.
The big 12-6 curveball from Scott misses low in the dirt. Do some house cleaning with the pitchers. Book closed on both Rosales and Dorado. Gavino 3 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. For Dom Dorado, an inning and a third, no runs, and he just gave up 2 hits. No walks, no Ks. Now it's Mitch Scott's turn, and he's ahead of Brooks, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Really pounded the zone right here is Mitchell Scott. Does have 6 walks in 8 2/3 innings coming into tonight, so the free base path issue is a problem.
Going towards second was Whittle, and fouling that one back to the screen is Brooks, so we'll do it again. So far this summer, Jack has only bounced into 1 double play. The Oaks have bounced into 27 of them this summer.
Whittle 3 for 6 on the season, stolen bases.
The 1-2, got him swinging again. Once again, the ball will roll up the third base line, but first base was occupied. So Jack Brooks is a strikeout victim, and going towards second on the wild pitch is Whittle.
Gotta love that rule right there.
And that rule really working to Saints' advantage right there. Oaks would have had first and second with just 1 out. Instead, it's 2 outs and only 1 runner on.
Those 2 swings from Whittle and Brooks just shows how devastating the 12-6 curveball for Mitchell Scott is. Looks like they're going to give 4 to Austin Carrillo here.
That's right. Austin Carrillo will be walked intentionally. Don't need to throw those 4 pitches, so taking first base is Carrillo. That'll bring up A.J. Salgado. Interesting play to walk 1 All-Star and just face another.
Not only that, you're putting the tying runner on base, and it could be just because Salgado has struggled a little bit past 15 games or so. Interesting to see that Coach Aramayan put the tying runner on base here. Double could tie this game up. A home run would give the Oaks the lead.
First pitch from Scott, breaking ball in the dirt. Harris will block it, but he can't find it. The two runners will advance. Right now, that walk from head coach Aaron Milam really raising a lot of eyebrows here, especially if Salgado, or Austin Carrillo rather, were to score. Second and third now with 2 outs, and A.J. Salgado ahead of the count 1-0.
Yeah, Cooper Harris having trouble with that off-speed pitch that is just buried. It's really hard to pick up as a hitter here.
Despite Salgado's struggles, he's carrying a 3-game hitting streak into this one. Already walked twice. His only ball put in play was a ground ball to Peyton Holt at second. The 1-0. Bouncer over to first. Matt Marlowe will pick it up. He'll toss on over to the bag. And it's still no call, and it finally is in time to get him. A little bit of a delayed call by the first base umpire. Kept us hanging with a lot of bated breaths. But either way, the Saints get out of yet another jam. 7-5 going to the bottom of the 6th. Bottom of the 6th inning at Jackie Robinson Field. The Saints up 7-5, and the day is finally done for Michael Stanford. He gives way for Charlie Adamson, the hard-throwing righty.
Yeah, the Saints are very familiar with Charlie Adamson. This is going to be his 5th appearance against the Saints this season. He's only given up 2 runs across 5 and a third inning, 2/3 innings of work. They're going to look for him to throw up a couple zeros. Saints gotta think they need a little more insurance runs to make them feel a little more comfortable. Looks like got some movement up in the Saints bullpen.
You're right, Steven. With the hitting prowess this Conejo Oaks lineup has, 2 runs in the 6th inning is not even close to what you want, especially in the college game. 2 runs is basically 1 at this point.
Yeah, and especially Conejo, they know in their head they're not out of this, especially after yesterday. Scored 8 unanswered against the Riptide,
including 3 in the bottom of the 9th inning, rather. They were entering that frame down 10-6. The Saints are watching that one closely, as they would have had a chance to tie should Conejo would have came back. As Matt Marlowe will check his swing, the first base umpire says he went around, 0-1. It'll be Marlowe, Bohonda, and Blessinger due up in the bottom of the 6th inning. Saints looking for more, up 7-5. 1-1 now to Marlowe.
And even though they dropped 7 off of Michael Stanford, got to think to be glad he's out. He really started after that 2nd inning figuring out these Saints hitters.
Marlowe will swing and miss early on the slider, and that all of a sudden puts him in a 1-2 hole. Marlowe walked in his last at-bat in the 3rd inning, but was thrown out at second base. a costly out in that third frame. As the 1-2 makes Matt Marlowe flinch, but he wisely takes that one. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Charlie Adamson, big strikeout guy, 24 over just 18 2/3 innings. It's allowed just 2 extra base hits out of 15.
That fastball is spiked. It'll get away from Whittle. 3 balls, 2 strikes now to Marlowe.
So just about a walk every 3 innings, so you like that from him. He pounds the zone, fills it up. He's just 1 walk away from walking the leadoff hitter here, and Matt Marlowe's put together a good at-bat.
Payoff pitch, fouled back. We'll do it again for a 7th time coming up. Michael Stanford's day is done. 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 7 runs, but only 1 of them was earned. And in that 6-run frame in the 2nd inning for the Saints, none of those runs were earned off of Stanford. Payoff pitch misses in the dirt, ball 4, and Matt Marlowe's got his 2nd walk of the night.
And the Saints have really put together a lot of good at-bats today. You know, across the 5 innings for Stanford, only 4 strikeouts, and they really drove that pitch count up. 84 in those 5 innings. So they've been tough outs today, putting the ball in play at a high rate, forcing the Oaks to make plays, and they've made a couple costly mistakes, the Durfee error and also the Stanford error last inning.
Yep, a couple costly errors for the Conejo Oaks in that bottom of the 5th inning that allowed Drew Kelly to score. It was a routine ground ball over to the pitcher, Michael Stanford, who was about ready to underhand toss over to first. The only thing is, nobody was there to catch the ball. Jack Brooks was late getting towards second. Brandon Durfee was attacking the ground ball, so with nobody on, Stanford tossed it to nobody. And Drew Kelly ended up scoring the Saints' 7th run, the first outside of that 2nd inning. As Jared Buhanda steps back to the dugout, and it looks like Artine Biagian will be pinch hitting for him here. So Artine will come to the plate, one of the newest Arroyo Seco Saints. In only 4 games, he's 3 for 7, a .429 batting average. Biagian just showed up, played his first game at San Luis Obispo last weekend, a 7-6 loss for the Saints, and here he is here in a big situation, and he immediately shows bunt. And he'll pull it back, take an outside ball 1.
This could be their bunt specialist, but I'm interested to see next inning if he's just an offensive replacement, if they'll put in maybe Jack Walker or Dylan Johnson in the outfield, or they could move Peyton Holt. We've seen him play in the outfield a couple innings.
Biagian shows bunt yet again. Corner's crashing, and he pulls it back smartly ahead. 2 balls and no strikes.
I caught the corner, actually, Anthony.
Yep, 1-1 now.
Really interested to see get the call on that, especially after Whittle dropped the ball.
Marlowe off at first. Biagian showing early, ready to sacrifice him. There goes Marlowe to third. Throw on down, not in time. The throw will get to center field. Marlowe racing over to third. No throw will be made. Costly errors left and right for the Conejo Oaks, rather. This time, David Whittle sails a ball into center field, and Marlowe takes 2 backs. He's on third with nobody out.
A really good job from Matt Marlowe. In the perspective of a catcher, those ones are really hard. Biagian's bat really blocking the vision, and he's pulling it back right into your eyes. It's really hard to track that ball into your glove, let alone transfer it to your hand to make a clean throw. That one, he didn't get a good grip, and it sailed over into center field.
2 balls and 1 strike to Artine Biagian. All of a sudden, all he needs to do is put the ball in play. Conejo's infield is in. Dowd and Grant on the left side. Brooks and Durfee on the right. The outfield shallow and shaded towards the left against Biagian. A big insurance run 90 feet away. The 2-1 fouled back to the screen, 2-2.
Yeah, Biagian, very defensive swing right there. Trying to stay alive. He's going to need to put the ball in play in the outfield. Marlowe, not the fastest Saint, so it's got to be a decent length in the field. Only 1 strikeout in 7 at-bats, though, for Artine Biagian, so he puts the ball in play at a very high rate.
He puts it in play. Nope, it's fouling out of play, rather. Towards the right side. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Biagin in pure defensive mode right there. Last 2 swings, he's just throwing his hands out there. Great 2-strike approach, knows he doesn't have to do much. He's got to flip it over the heads of the infield here.
Biagin will pop it up on the infield. Huge out number 1 as Dowdett races up the third base line to make the catch.
It's not what you want right there. If you're Biagin, and like you said, big out right there for Charlie Adamson. Max Blessinger comes up.
But at the very least, Steven, Matt Marlowe isn't out at home, so the infield's still in for Max Blessinger. Really starting to get hot this past week or so.
You know, Max really handles the bat really well in terms of bunting. Could possibly see a suicide squeeze here.
Blessinger an RBI single in the second, struck out looking in the fourth. Both of those against Stanford. Shows bunt here against Adamson and takes a strike. With the infield already in, the third baseman Dowdett and the first baseman Durfee will have a head start to try and maybe now Marlowe out at home.
Yeah, it's weird him showing bunt. You know, you'd think if he would show bunt, it'd be a suicide with Marlowe sprinting home.
Blessinger quickly behind 0-2 after the fastball paints the outside corner. Charlie Adamson trying to navigate. Nobody out and a runner on third. Marlowe stole second. Whittle's error advanced them to third. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Blessinger takes the fastball up and away.
Gotta protect anything close here if you're Max Blessinger. He's gotta send something into the outfield here with the infield in.
Blessinger battles back to even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Adamson back-to-back misses. And if there's a reliever on this Conejo squad that can get a strikeout, it's the righty Adamson. 24 of them in just 19 innings. But he's missed 3 consecutive times to Max Blessinger.
A really good discipline from Max Blessinger, laying off the off-speed away. Adamson do have the open base. You walk Bless, it opens up the possibility for a double play with Cooper Harris on deck.
The payoff pitch in the dirt, ball 4. So after getting Max Blessinger ahead 0-2, Charlie Adamson loses the zone, and they're cornered with 1 out for Cooper Harris.
I'm not going to say it's a guarantee, but I would almost bet the entire farm they're going to have Max Blessinger take off during this at-bat. We've also seen Cooper Harris put down a couple bunts this season. Could see a possible safety squeeze down that first baseline. But something I definitely has got to be on. You got a very smart base runner, Max Blessinger, and a very smart hitter in Cooper Harris.
Harris has 2 sacrifice hits on the year. Max Blessinger, the team leader with 15 stolen bases off of first. Marlowe still at third with 1 out. Adamson, the set at the chest. There goes Blessinger. Harris will take low ball 1. Throw down to second. Not in time. Bang, bang play over at second base, and Max Blessinger sneaks right under the tag. And the Saints are in the driver's seat, second and third with 1 gone.
Ooh, I don't know about that one, Andy. That one looked really close right there. Perfect throw from Whittle. Bless got an extraordinary jump, but just a really close play.
Keep it down, Steven. The umpire might hear us. So now the infield will come in for Conejo. Harris ahead, 1 ball, no strikes. He'll put this one in play. No, it's just foul down the third base line. It was over the bag and would have easily scored 2 if it was fair. Only thing is, just bounce foul.
Harris trying to have his defining moment this season. Remembering back to the real beginning of the season, head coach Aaron Milam touting him as one of the best catchers he's ever had with the Saints.
Harris is ahead of the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. I mentioned Aaron Milam. Nothing but positive things to say about Cooper Harris. Really struggling behind the plate, lowering his average to 156, but despite struggling, he was here early for some extra BP in the batting cages. trying to figure out his swing late in the summer. The 2-1 bouncer up the middle and through for a base hit. Matt Marlowe will score. Max Blessinger right behind him. How about that for a base hit? Cooper Harris a 2-run single to give the Saints a 4-run lead.
Great piece of hitting right there. Cooper Harris, infield drawn in, sends something up the middle, out of reach for Gavin Grant. And with the speed of Max Blessinger, he's able to score from second. And huge insurance runs, now up 4 here in the 6th.
And Steven, you can really hear the sigh of relief for Cooper Harris, really struggling, the frustrations boiling over, and all smiles over at first base as Riley Conlon congratulates him. 9-5 in the bottom of the 6th. Now it's Jordan Rogers taking strike 1 in the outside corner.
You know, it's just a testament to how tough Cooper Harris is, the struggles he's had at the plate, but he doesn't carry it over to his defense at the plate.
There goes Harris towards second. Rogers will take strike 2, not even an attempt down, and Cooper Harris getting very dangerous on the base paths, his 7th stolen base of the season.
You know, pitchers are athletes, catchers are fast right there. You know, it was mostly the jump that had him, but Harris has got some speed in those
that
legs.
Slogan. No balls, 2 strikes. Duck on the pond for Jordan Rogers, who will swing and miss for strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Rogers has been struck out with 2 gone, but a runner in scoring position once again for Drew Cowley.
Just to see if they walk him here. Looks like they may. And yeah, it looks like they're going to send Cowley.
Yep. No chance. David Solis flashing the 4 fingers. The last time we see him intentionally walk was in Orange County 3 weeks ago. And Cowley will take first base. There's some boos here at Jackie Robinson Field. They want to see the big man hit.
It's Mr. Sane. It's the last game of the season here at in Pasadena. They're trying to keep this season alive, play into August. Instead of October baseball in the MLB, we want some August baseball here for the Saints.
A CCL pennant chase in late July, and this really feels like a playoff game here at Jackie Robinson Field, doesn't it, Steven?
Oh yeah, energy, high crowd, and both dugouts we saw early in the game.
First pitch to Donahue. Misses inside, ball 1. So it's one thing to intentionally walk a hot hitter. It's another thing to be protected by a couple more all-stars behind you in Donahue and Wong.
Yeah, it's definitely a luxury these Saints have. Donahue has struggled a little bit today. He's been on a couple times, but hasn't put the ball in play hard right now.
Swung on and missed, strike 1. That's the hole in his swing. High fastballs. Michael Stanford, the left-handed starter, got him swinging on that first inning on the high heat. Adamson evens the count with the same pitch.
Donahue has yet to record a hit against Adamson this season. Trying to change that right here in the big spot.
Kyson Donahue swings and misses through another fastball. 1-2 the count.
Really got to shorten up that swing now. 2 strikes. Gotta put the ball in play, make the Oaks make a play here. They have had 3 errors this game. Gotta push the issue.
Charlie Adamson will get Kyson Donahue swinging and missing on the fastball. But the Arroyo Seco Saints strike for a couple more insurance runs on a 2-run single up the middle by Cooper Harris with the infield drawn in. We go to the 7th. Arroyo Seco now up by 4. Top of the 7th inning, Arroyo Seco has extended their lead, doubled it in fact from 2 to 4. It's now 9-5, and Mitchell Scott right back out there to face a couple all-stars, Gavin Grant, Zach Dowdett, and Josiah Chavez. 3-4-5, 2 up for the Oaks, with the Saints back by a game and a half of the Orange County Riptide for the final playoff spot in the CCL South Division. And if they win today, it'll only be a game back, with the Orange County Riptide ready to head to San Luis Obispo for a couple this weekend. As swinging and missing through that one is Gavin Grant, 0-1.
Yeah, and I was going to say, that's going to be a tough road trip for the Riptide. Back-to-back days in slow, about a 4.5 hour drive for them. Wondering if they're going to stay down there, if they're going to go back-to-back days.
No balls and 2 strikes. Mitchell Scott quickly working ahead of the all-star Gavin Grant.
I mean, just important for the Saints to win, keep the pressure on the Riptide. It's the Riptide who control their own destiny right now.
The 0-2. Got him for strike 3. How about that? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Mitchell Scott strikes out an all-star on 3 pitches for the first out.
That is just perfect pitch sequencing right there. Fastball, curveball, fastball. That was just absolute paint right there, Picasso-like on the corner.
So with 1 gone, Zach Dowdett will come to the plate. Zach's been aboard twice, walked in the first and was hit by a Mitchell Scott pitch in the 5th. And a curveball loops in there for strike 1. The 0-1 to Dowdett. Doubles up with the curveball. This time it misses low. 1-1 the count. Josiah Chavez, a left fielder, waiting on deck. Saints with a 9-5 lead here in the 7th, but no lead is safe, especially against these Conejo Oaks. At one point, Arroyo Seco was up 5-0 on Sunday. The Oaks battle all the way back to win it 7-6. As Scott falls behind Dowdett, 2-1.
That 2-run insurance they got last inning, that could prove large.
As Dowdett will step out and call time. Inning a third for Mitchell Scott, 21 pitches. He's so far struck out 3 hitters. 3 of his 4 outs have been via the K. 3 consecutive strikeouts for Mitchell Scott. 2-1 to Dowdett. Swung on and missed, strike 2.
Yeah, the Oaks are really having trouble seeing the ball out of Scott's hand. You know, has that hitch in his stretch. Really can mess with timing.
Also hides the ball well. That over-the-shoulder throwing motion for Mitch Scott. Tough on righties, and he's facing one here in Zach Dowdett. From the windup. He strikes him out. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Dowdett was frozen with the fastball. Make that 4 consecutive Ks for Mitchell Scott, dealing in the 7th.
Oh, yeah, he's got his stuff working today. I mean, this entire relief so far between Dorado and Scott have really gotten working. Dorado didn't get a strikeout in his inning in the 3rd, but Scott has gotten all his outs via the strikeout except 1 right now.
Gavino Rosales started the game, kept his team in it, 3 2/3, 5 earned runs, did his job, gave way to the bullpen, who hasn't given up an earned run, as Dom Dorado and Mitchell Scott are combining for something special in a must-win game for the Saints.
Yeah,
as Josiah Chavez takes outside ball 1.
Yeah, it would be big. Scott to throw up a 0. Saints get a couple more. They could save big arms like Chris Stamos and Caleb Reyes for later this week.
Chris Stamos pitched 6 innings against the Conejo Oaks on Sunday. 5 no-hit frames to start his afternoon. A crushing way to lose for Arroyo Seco via the walk-off against this Oaks team. As sending that one into center field is Chavez. Max Blessinger will call off the left fielder Biagian to make the play. And that will end the frame. 1-2-3 inning for Mitch Scott. 2 strikeouts mixed in between. It's time to stretch at Jackie Robinson Field. 9-5. Saints lead it. Charlie Adamson right back out there for a second inning of work, looking to rebound after giving up a couple costly runs in the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be Matt Wong, Peyton Holt, and Matt Marlowe. 4, 5, and 6, the meat of this Arroyo Seco order.
They really need to put up a run or two more, keep the pressure on the Oaks, keep them out of this game. Saints, remember, back just earlier this week on Sunday, that blew that 5-run lead.
No lead is safe in the CCL. The Conejo Oaks were down, 10-1 at one point against the Riptide. Almost came back to make it 10-9. You mentioned the Saints blowing that 5-run lead. The Riptide coming back earlier on in the week against us. A lot of should-have-have-its for Arroyo Seco. As Wong fouls it away, 0-2.
And even though it's a tight race, for that playoff push with the Riptide, if you're the Saints, you can't think about, if this bounced our way, we would be in it. You got to focus game by game. You're still not out of it. You win today. Keep the pressure on the Riptide.
Wong behind, 0-2. And he just stays alive, punching that fastball foul off to the right. Wong 0 for 3 on the day. Did reach once on an error by the first baseman Brendan Durfee. Ended up scoring a run. That came in the 6-run second inning. That's really carrying the Saints so far. Drew Kelly a grand slam in that frame as well. To straightaway center field, just over the glove of the leaping Raul Sandoval. To the left of the flagpole in straightaway center. The 1-2 to Wong. Swung on and missed strike 3. Fold him with the slider. And make that 2 consecutive strikeouts dating back to the last inning for Adamson.
A really good job right there. Sweeping slider that Wong swung out of his shoes on that one. It was mostly the fastballs from Adamson before that pitch, and then got him chasing on the slider.
So Wong takes an 0 for 4 day back to the dugout, and he'll make way for Peyton Holt. Peyton's 1 for 2 on the day, singled and scored a run in that second inning. Take a ball outside, 1-0. Was the final out of the bottom of the 5th. Lined a shot towards right field. That was caught by Austin Carrillo, an over-the-shoulder grab. One of the hardest hit balls of the night. And he'll lace this one into right field again. A carbon copy of what he did in the 5th. And this time Austin Carrillo will catch it for out number 2.
A little late on that one. Inner half fastball. Couldn't get the hands across in time. We also forgot to mention last inning, Martin Biagian stayed in the game. He went to second base, and Peyton Holt filled Jared Buhanda's spot in left field.
That's right. We've seen Peyton Holt in the outfield quite a bit. Got some run in the 11-0 blowout against the Orange County Riptide. His first pitch swinging is Matt Marlowe over to his Regis teammate down at third. He'll toss across the back to end the frame. So an easy 1-2-3 inning for Charlie Adamson. This game whizzing right along. Let's go to the 8th. 9-5, Saints still out in front.
Of the 8th inning.
So it's time for the 8th inning here at Jackie Robinson Field, and look who's back out there, Mitchell Scott, who's been highly effective, to say the least, through the first 2 innings.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 4 strikeouts across the 2 innings. It's really been the power breaking ball that have gotten these hitters for the Oaks. Mentioned that they're been hunting the fastball, and they see that curveball start at the lower part of the zone, and they chase. It's just a matter of, Cooper Harris has had a little trouble with the blocking, but it's been a real tough pitch.
Scott opts to go with the fastball. The first pitch to Brendan Durfee, and it finds the zone, strike 1.
Yeah, it's a really good pitch because it catches the lower part of the zone. It could set up later in the at-bat for a power breaking ball.
The 0-1. Lined into deep center field. Racing back is Blessinger. Still going back. He's at the wall. It is off the top of it, and he'll stay in the ballpark. Brendan Durfee will be aboard with his second double of the day. A great way to lead off the 8th for Conejo.
Yeah, just missed that one out in center field. Bless had a little trouble getting to that, finding the wall in time. Left that fastball up. It was the same result. In the 4th inning double for Durfee, it was a fastball left up from Rosales.
And this time it's a fastball left up by Mitchell Scott, and Durfee did not miss it. A few feet shy of a home run and hit off the top of the wall in left field, center field rather. Speedy Blessinger couldn't race it down, so Durfee aboard at second. Raul Sandoval, the hitter. Now he goes with a curveball, but it misses up and inside, ball 1. Sandoval riding a 1-for-3 day in this 8th inning. Double down the right field line and ended up scoring on a wild pitch back in the 4th. Bounced out to 3rd in the 6th inning. And he's quickly ahead of the count. 2 balls, no strikes. Sandoval hasn't gotten a lot of playing time with the Oaks, this being his 9th game, hitting .260 on the summer, 8 for 31. As a matter of fact, that double by Sandoval back in the 4th is only his 2nd extra base hit. The other one was a homer. He's ahead of the count 2-0 on Mitch Scott. Make it 2-1 after he swings through the breaking ball.
Yeah, that just shows how good of a pitch that is. 2-0 when you have Raul Sandoval chasing a pitch in the dirt. He was looking fastball. That pitch looked like a fastball about 50 feet of the way, and that just shows how good of a pitch is because it breaks super late.
The 2-1 finds the top part of the zone. Scott's battled back with 2 nice pitches. Durfee the lead off of second. Raul Sandoval even at the count 2-2, and Scott will check on back. Racing back to the bag is Durfee.
Gotta be careful of that pickoff move. That front foot was close to going home. Yep. Didn't really gotta emphasize your momentum going towards second base.
Swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him with the breaking ball, but it gets away from Cooper Harris. The 12-6 curve wreaking havoc not only on Conejo, but Cooper Harris behind the plate. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Another drop 3rd strike going to first base.
That pitch is just so effective, but you can't really blame Cooper Harris. That ball is just moving a lot.
Makes you wonder how big were those 2 runs by the Saints in that bottom of the 6th inning. Cooper Harris, a single up the middle to score a couple with the infield in for Conejo. Couple ducks on the pond for the Oaks here, as fouling that one back to the screen is David Whittle. Struck out in his last at-bat, his first and only at-bat in the 6th inning against Mitchell Scott, and ended up advancing to first on a wild pitch.
Baby Drew. Yeah, Drew.
Whittle coming in for Colin Hynek, replacing him in that bottom of the 4th inning defensively. This being his 2nd at-bat of the night. There goes the runner off to second. They're going to throw on down. Biagian's tag is not in time, and the Oaks have a couple runners in scoring position with the count 1-1 to David Whittle.
Harris had a chance to get him, but Looks like they're actually going to call that a strike, so 0-2. But throw on the right side would have got him. Just wrong side of the base for Cooper Harris.
It's all Dom Dorado work out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam unscathed. Let's see what Mitch Scott can do with a 4-run lead. A bouncer up the third baseline foul. We'll do it again.
You know, with those wild pitches from Cooper Harris, what that does to Mitchell Scott is it could get him in his head with his off speed. He may not want to go to it, or if he throws it, he's going to leave it over the plate and hang it because he may not trust Harris to block the ones those in the dirt.
The 0-2. In the dirt, 1-2. Whittle smartly lays off the curveball. And Cooper Harris bodying up behind home plate to save a run. Scott still ahead of Whittle, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The right-handed hitting catcher strikes out nearly 40% of the time on this season. Boy, would Mitch Scott like one here. The 1-2. Doubles up with a curveball, and it got him looking right down the heart of the plate. Harris didn't even need to block that one. David Whittle, exit stage right for him. He's 0 for 2 today with 2 Ks against Mitch.
Yeah, that one absolutely fooled Whittle right there. Curveball right down the middle. He was thinking fastball. He was thinking that he was going to lay off that one high. Instead, it drops down in the zone. Big first out for Mitch Scott.
1 gone and runners on second and third. Still not out of the woods yet. So left-handed hitter Jack Brooks comes to the plate. 0 for 2 today with the walk. First pitch breaking ball. Chopped foul, 0-1.
That is just a power 12-6 curve right there. Throwing right over the top. Scott hides the ball from the hitter very well. You don't see it till it's right at the release point.
Will he double up with the breaking ball? He doesn't. Goes with a fastball, and it's picked by Cooper Harris, 1-1.
Harris has really got to bear down here. With how effective Scott's breaking ball has been, you got to think he's going to throw it more this at-bat. And throughout this inning, Harris has got to do his best to keep that one in front of him.
Jack Brooks, the Oregon Duck. One of 3 players who call Eugene home in the lineup today. He swings through that pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Steven, you know you got 2 strikes on you. Probably going with the curveball. How important is trust here with Cooper Harris?
Well, we've seen it a couple times that he's been able to block it, but if you're Mitchell Scott, I think you got to trust Cooper Harris. He's been a great defensive catcher all season. If you go to that, you got to bury it.
He was an all-star defensively for a reason. The 1-2 goes with a fastball, misses low to even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Austin Carrillo waiting on deck, and you surely don't want the bases loaded with him coming to the plate.
Got to go after the hitter here in Brooks. Up 4 here.
Goes with a curveball, and just staying alive and fouling it off of the leg of Cooper Harris is Brooks. He'll need a little bit of time. Might have caught him between the legs there, Steven.
In the family jewels.
Yep.
Coop's been a big part of today's game. Got that 2 RBI clutch hit to increase this lead to 7 or to 4. It's playing big right now. Without that, it would be a 2-run game with a tying run in scoring position.
The 2-2 again. Goes with a curveball, and just fouling that off and staying alive is Brooks. A little bit of a battle brewing here against Mitch Scott.
Yeah, Brooks saw that one a little better. He timed it up just a tad. He was a little late on it. I think if you do go to the fastball, you got to start it low in the zone. It could freeze Brooks here like we saw with David Whittle.
7th pitch of the at-bat coming up. And that's popped up on the infield. Drew Cowley behind third base. In foul territory will make the play. 2 outs. Mitch Scott really bearing down here, getting the strikeout in the infield pop-up.
Yeah, big out right there. I mean, it's starting to see Oaks are starting to crumble here with runners in scoring position. Remembering they had bases loaded, no one out in the 5th inning, could not get anyone home. Dom Dorado really shut them down there.
Mitch Scott, 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. He struck out David Whittle looking with the curveball. Got Jack Brooks to pop out to Drew Cowley in foul territory. Now it's Austin Carrillo. First pitch, breaking ball in there for a strike, 0-1.
It's going to be the first time Scott's facing Carrillo. They intentionally walked him back in the 6th inning with the open base.
And it proved to be the right decision as the next hitter, A.J. Salgado, bounced out to end that 6th inning. With first base open, Aaron Milam choosing to have Scott attack him here. And that's bounced on over to the right side. Backhanded by Marlowe. Toss on over to first, and winning the race is Mitch Scott. And once again, the Arroyo Seco Saints relievers putting up zeros emphatically. This time getting out of a 2nd and 3rd, nobody out jam. And we go to the bottom of the 8th, Saints still up by 4. Bottom of the 8th inning here at Jackie Robinson Field. Saints clinging to a 9-5 lead and coming out to keep this deficit at 4 for Conejo is Jackson Jordan.
Jackson Jordan this season, 6.23 ERA across 8 2/3. Did have a scoreless frame in the win against the Saints last Sunday. He is 5th time overall facing the Saints, so just like Charlie Adamson, a familiar face that the Saints have faced.
Well, he'll be facing what would have been Artin Biaggi, and instead it's Jacob Sanchez. The 7th spot in the Arroyo Seco order has been a revolving door all night. Jared Buhagian took the first 2 at-bats, then Artin Biaggi pinch hit for him and popped out in the 6th. And here he is in the 8th, Jacob Sanchez coming up.
Yeah, I gotta think he's just an offensive replacement that they're gonna move Holt back to second base and maybe put Jack Walker in left.
First pitch to Sanchez, misses outside, ball 1. That is Peyton Holt's best position over at second base, and you're right, Jackson Walker hasn't been used yet. Could be used as a defensive replacement in the top of the 9th inning. 3 outs away is Arroyo Seco from being behind just 1 game to the Orange County Riptide. OC had the day off, then they have back-to-back games against the Slow Blues at Sinsheimer Friday and Saturday. As popping that one into left field is Jacob Sanchez, so short that Gavin Grant, the shortstop, will make the grab. 1 out.
Gavin Grant with the catch. Next up, number 4, Max Blessinger.
What I really like from the Saints tonight is, even though that 6th spot in the 2nd inning at the moment would be enough to add on to score in more than that inning, to keep the pressure on the Oaks to try to put them away. I really like that from them tonight.
Max Blessinger facing Jackson Jordan for the first time tonight. He takes strike 1, the bottom part of the zone. The 0-1, Blessinger shows bunt but takes outside. Max on the day, 1 for 2. RBI single and scored a run in the second inning. Struck out looking in the fourth. Then in the sixth, he was running rampant across the base paths. Took a walk, then stole second base and ended up scoring a run on Cooper Harris's single. That was in the sixth inning. 2 massive insurance runs for the Saints put up on the board. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Big win here for the Saints. Once again, to put the pressure on the Riptide. Force them to win these games over the next 3 days.
That's right. It would be a big win for the Saints if they do hold on. Due up in the top of the ninth, Salgado, Grant, and Dowdett. 3 All-Stars, 2, 3, and 4. As the 2-1 floats in there for strike 2.
The Oaks will face the Riptide again on Sunday.
That's right. 2 games against the Blues Friday and Saturday. Then Conejo goes to Great Park to face the Riptide. Saints will play the Academy Barons in Compton tomorrow. They'll have Saturday off and then hit to Sinsheimer Field for their own game against the Slow Blues. Sunday afternoon, 1 p.m. start. While the OC Riptide play the Conejo Oaks at 4:30. So no scoreboard watching on Sunday, but we'll do it with you tomorrow. Full count pitch. Misses ball 4, and Max Blessinger has the second free pass of the day.
Really good eye from Blessinger. They didn't miss by much, but great presence at the plate. He's been on base now 3 times today, and now Cooper Harris can provide his team with a little more insurance today.
That's right. He already did his job in the 6th inning, though. Came into this game really struggling, struck out in the 4th, and then bounced a single up the middle in the 6th inning to score 2. And that's where we stand right now. 9-5 Arroyo Seco in the bottom of the 8th. First pitch from Jackson Jordan. In there for a strike. Blessinger now with the team lead in stolen bases by himself with 16. He was tied with Jordan Rogers, but his bag back in the 6th inning not only gave Arroyo Seco its 9th run, but Max Blessinger's 16th stolen base of the season. It's only been caught 1 time. Taking a healthy lead off first. The 0-1. Fouled off the catcher's mitt, back to the screen, 0-2.
Timing just a little bit off right there from Coop. He knows if he gets that pitch again, he'll give it a good ride. We saw him just a few games ago knock out his first home run in Irvine. A little pimp job with it, too. He kind of knew it was gone. I didn't know. I knew it was a hard hit ball. I didn't think it would get out off the bat.
Not a lot of home runs hit at Great Park. As racing towards second is Blessinger. That ball is ripped down the left field line. It's caught over the shoulder grab on the run by Chavez. Max Blessinger has to hustle back to first. Allowed out number 2 in the 8th.
That was one of the best hit balls from Coop all season. That was tattooed. But Josiah Chavez was able to track it down. Just gets a little more under that. That one's sailing out of here.
Jordan Rogers, the Wichita State teammate, fist bumping Cooper Harris, saying he just missed that pitch. Certainly gave it a ride, but Josiah Chavez had the speed to track it down. Blessinger will head back to first. Now it's Jordan Rogers' turn with 2 outs. That's in there for a strike, 0-1 from Jackson Jordan. 623 earned run average. Last pitch against the Saints team on Sunday. Only gave up a walk in a hitless inning. There goes Blessinger. The 0-1 floats in there for a ball, and Max Blessinger will easily have his 17th stolen base of the season. Boy, he can't stop him once he's in stride.
He's a great player to have on the squad. When he gets on, he's almost an automatic stolen base. Only been caught, what, once this year?
17 for 18 stealing bases is Max Blessinger. He can do it all. The 1-1. Rogers swings and misses through that one. The fastball beat him up top. One ball and 2 strikes to Jordan Rogers. 15th pitch of the inning coming up from Jordan. There goes Blessinger to third, and Rogers will foul that one off. The Conejo first base dugout, and we'll do it again.
Even though Bless had a good jump, he would have been walking to third. 2 strikes. Rogers has got to protect the plate. If you're Bless, with your speed at second base, you should score on a single. Don't want to risk an out over at third or to distract Jordan Rogers if you're in motion.
Jordan Rogers will take in the dirt ball, too. So with Charlie Adamson's day done, his final line, 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, and 2 earned runs, both of them coming on Cooper Harris's single back in the 6th. The 2-2 will get Jordan Rogers swinging to end the inning. But the Arroyo Seco Saints still out in front, 9-5 going to the 9th inning. 2-3-4 due up. A trio of all-stars, Salgado, Grant, and Dowdett. They'll be facing a new pitcher like, oh no, Mitchell Scott coming right back out there when we come back. Top of the 9th inning, Mitchell Scott right back out there for yet another frame, his 4th. And so far, he's only given up 1 hit, 1 walk, and more importantly, the stat to highlight, 6 strikeouts in 3+ innings.
It's been that power breaking ball. Once again, I mentioned last inning, it's been the key to his success. Now just 3 outs away for a big win here.
First pitch swinging in
Like
is the 2-hitter A.J. Salgado. Oh, 0-1 the count.
Yeah, it took something off it. That didn't have the downward action of a curve. It looked like a change.
1-1. So far, Dom Dorado and Mitchell Scott combined for 4 1/3 scoreless innings, giving up only 3 hits and 1 walk. And that was on the heels after Gavino Rosales gave up 5 in 3 2/3. There's the big hook. And smartly taken it is Salgado. 2 balls and 1 strike. Salgado singled in the 5th inning. Bounced out to first in the 6th. The 2-1 bounce over to the left side. Cowley, an easy play. We'll toss it across the diamond. Conejo's down to their final couple outs.
Smooth as silk over there at third. Makes it look really easy on that one. And just highlighting this bullpen for the Saints. It's been, you know, there have been games where it has cost them at bullpen, the end, the back end, but 4 2/3 scoreless right now.
Now it's righty-righty matchup with Gavin Grant, taking outside ball 1. Gavin's been aboard just once today, an infield single in the 5th inning off of Dom Dorado. Was actually stranded at third base. With the Oaks had bases loaded, nobody out in the 5th inning. Dorado got that huge double play and then ended up forcing Brendan Durfee to bounce out to the first baseman, Matt Marlowe. And speaking of defense, Peyton Holt now regains his initial spot at second base, replacing Jacob Sanchez. The pinch hitter is Jackson Walker, who now plays in left. The 1-1 swung on and missed by Grant. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, Jackson Walker in left instead of, you would assume, Dylan Johnson, who tweaked an ankle in an exhibition game yesterday. It was a really late exit. Having trouble keeping him on the field right now. Had of course, the food poisoning, and then
yeah, the NorCal road trip.
Back injury, trying to keep him right now on the field.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Gavin Grant facing Mitchell Scott, who will get him swinging with the slider. Strikeout number 7 on the day for Mitch, and the Conejo Oaks are down to their final out in the 9th.
Now is number 25, Zach Dode.
So Salgado and Grant retired in order. Now it's the 4-hitting All-Star Zach Dowdett. Struck out looking against Scott his last time up. Hit by a pitched and walked. First pitch, breaking ball. There's the hook, but it just misses up high, 1-0. Doubles up with the curveball. This time, the second time's the charm, 1-1.
Really good job showing he could throw it for a strike. We saw last inning to David Whittle, he dropped a curve right down the middle that froze him, and he's showing it again that he's the ability to throw it for a strike.
The 1-1 in there for strike 2. Conejo's down to its final strike. Mitchell Scott, 3 2/3, striking out 7, giving up 1 hit and a walk. 1 strike away from pulling the Saints within 1 game of the OC Riptide. The 1-2, just fouled off to the right. Scott opted to go with the fastball. He beat Dowdett to the spot, but Zach was able to foul it off.
Yeah, really good tunneling from Mitchell Scott right there. They're starting that fastball at the same spot the curve started out, but it stayed straight, and like you said, Dowdett laid on it. Was just able to get a piece.
We'll do again. The 1-2. Just outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Scott trying to paint the fastball in the black. Missed it by a few inches. 63rd pitch. Breaking ball. Tap foul again.
Go, Mitchell.
Dowdett in a battle with Mitchell Scott.
I don't know what's going on over there.
Dowdett ready for the 7th pitch of the at-bat. And it got him looking. Mitch Scott with the curveball strikes out his 8th hitter of the night and slams the door emphatically on this Conejo Oaks offense.
A really good job by Mitchell Scott. Like you said, 8 Ks over the 4 innings of relief. A bullpen overall, 5 1/3 shutout innings. Much needed win for the Saints, who are now continuously putting the pressure on the OC Riptide.
How about that? When your backs are against the wall, you need someone to step up. Today it's Mitchell Scott firing 4 innings and striking out 8 out of the bullpen. As for the bullpen, 5 1/3 scoreless after Cavino Rosales gave up 5 in 3 2/3. And the Arroyo Seco Saints pull within a game of the Orange County Riptide and send off Jackie Robinson Field with an emphatic and massive 9-5 win. So for Anthony Baskett and Stephen Hogenkamp and our producer Aaron Goldsting saying so long and enjoy your Thursday night from the Crown City. Saints win at 9-5. The pennant chase continues.
Saints are hot.